so good to see you. Welcome back to Katie's Crazy Diary. I am Katie and I am so excited about today's episode. This is a really special episode. I call it the Lockumentary because it is a documentary about the lockdown and it consists of lockdown interviews from around the world. I spoke to friends and family members from around the world and we got 16 interviews from 11 countries. We have interviews from Spain, Russia, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Brazil, Sweden, and Canada. Oh, and the Seychelles. And of course from different states here in the US, because the US are so big and I wanted to cover the East Coast and the West Coast. There will be a lot of my friends featured here and also 2 very dear family members and 2 Facebook friends. The Lockumentary consists of 16 interviews and 14 of them are in English and 1 is partially in German and 1 is in Finnish. Because I am German-Finnish. And also because sometimes people feel more comfortable to speak in their native language. And please don't feel that I'm discriminating or excluding certain nations or countries. It just depends on where in the world I have friends and family. And I also have friends and family in some other countries, but not everybody is comfortable being on camera. I asked my dear ones how they experience the current situation in our world and how they deal with it. And I hope by sharing our experiences with you guys, we can help you to feel less alone. And there are also some friends in this video who are like me, who do not live in their native countries. Like a Brazilian friend who lives in Finland and a friend from New Zealand who lives in Finland. And I also interviewed a Finnish exchange student who lives in the Netherlands. And I call these people my double agents because they are still connected to their native countries through friends and family. So they can tell us about the situation in 2 countries, the country they live in and their native country. Another important note, all of my dear ones I spoke to asked me, how are you? How is it in LA? How is your family? Are you all okay and safe? And I cut this out for the most part because it would just repeat itself for you. I don't want it to get boring for you guys, but I wanted you to know that my dear ones care. Some of them are fellow creators like me, fellow artists, fellow stand-up comedians, and I will leave the links to their channels in the description because you might want to check it out. The wonderful people you will see in this video are from all different walks of life. And we're just genuinely sharing our experiences with each other. That means we're also going to talk about spirituality, meditation, praying, some astrology. And of course, some of my friends are fellow comedians, so there will also be jokes and comedy in this video. And I think it is great that we also have some comedy in here, because you know, I'm a comedian myself and I also often resort to humor in all kinds of situations, especially difficult situations. I just want you to know that we are not trying to build opinions here or to influence what you think in a certain direction. That's not the purpose of this video. I just asked my dear ones to genuinely share their experiences and their feelings. And that's what this is. In case you disagree with something that is said in this video and you feel to leave a comment, please do that, but please be respectful and kind. Because I don't want my dear ones who make themselves vulnerable by sharing to be judged or attacked. But I'm sure it's not even necessary for me to say that because it's always so nice here in the comment section. Another thing that I should mention is, as you all might have noticed, since so many of us are home, either on lockdown or voluntary self-quarantine or working from home or all of that at the same time, we are all using the internet much more than normally. And therefore the internet connection is a little bad sometimes. Therefore you might notice that the video sometimes freezes or gets a little grainy, and sometimes the calls broke up altogether and we always had to redial. And therefore there might be also some odd cuts in the video, you know, like in the middle of the sentence. That's then probably because the video broke up just there and I tried to put it together in the post-production. And sometimes also my screen recording program crashed, but we always had the vlogging camera behind my shoulder to have a backup. And so you might also notice that it jumps from screen recording to my backup camera. But it's all about the content and about what the people in this video want to share with you. Please keep in mind that we're all human beings and we're trying to connect and share here on a human level without judging each other for having different opinions or different approaches to the situation. It is all about sharing and supporting and encouraging each other. Another important note, you will see us smile in the interviews, despite the serious situation. That is because we're happy to see each other and we're happy to connect and happy to hear that the other one is all right and that their dear ones are all right. And therefore, we will be smiling a lot in these interviews and we will be laughing together. And I also feel that it's much better to give you interviews in which I am genuinely smiling and laughing with my dear ones instead of interviews where we are crying. Because this whole situation is already sad and serious enough. And I also have to tell you that making the Lockumentary and reconnecting with my dear ones, this is the thing that got me out of bed. Really, this helped me to get my butt out of the bed during the last week. I woke up happy and motivated every day to jump on another interview with a person that I sometimes hadn't seen in a long time. I hope you will feel that when you watch the Lockumentary. And now I hope you will have a lot of fun with the Lockumentary. And now we're gonna talk to my dear friend Mónica from Spain. Mónica is a close friend of my family and she lives near my parents in Spain. I admire her positive approach and she's gonna tell us now what's going on in Torrevieja. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
You look good. You look great.
Thank you. Yeah, we're just coping with it. I'm trying to be positive. I say to myself that, what else can I do?
Yeah.
So I'm one of the lucky ones because I'm still at work. My boss gave me he asked me to choose. I could work from home if I like, or I could still come to the office. I don't know if you remember, I told you I work in Orihuela Costa, which, is a few miles from Torrevieja. So I chose to come here. It's only from, 9 until 3 or 4, depends on the day. I still have flexible hours. The fact that I come here every day, the fact that I drive here every day gives me normal feeling.
And how many people are in your office right now?
Just me.
Oh, you're alone, so you're also safe. You're basically in self-quarantine in your office.
That's why. It's this is a safe environment. Only my boss, he comes from time to time. He normally comes from the afternoon, so we are together only for a few hours. So it's quiet. We are not meeting clients, only with previous appointments. But right now, there's not many clients that want to buy a house. So... I'm just trying to do the after sales, filing, all the boring stuff that we never have time to do. Now it's the time to do it. So.
And how strict is it? I've heard the lockdown is very strict. The rules are very strict in Spain.
It is. You don't realize the things that you normally do until you cannot do them. Ooh, my hair. I need to go to the hairdresser. Oh, I can't. I need to wait until the lockdown is over. So I'm lucky because I know how to dye myself my hair at home.
Yeah, it looks good.
No, seriously. The measurements are as strict as in a car. You cannot take passengers. It's only one person, the driver, per car. Even the taxi drivers, they can only take one passenger at a time. So if you and your partner or your friend or someone else, you need to get a taxi, you need to wait for the taxi driver to take one to wherever you are going, and then come back for you, and then take you. It's
crazy.
What other requirements? Yeah, Katie, that I have a dog. Dante.
Yes, so we have to say that we're friends. We met because you live close to my parents in Spain and our dogs are best friends. Yeah.
Exactly. So we can only take Dante out only for 10 minutes. Only to cover, the basic.
Yeah.
And Marina, my child, she has to remain indoors. We cannot take her anywhere. Shopping, groceries, it has to be only one of us. So I am the one doing the groceries, the shopping, because when I finish my shift at work, on my way home, I do the shopping. Supermarkets, I have to say, supermarkets are okay. Plenty of stock, no lack of anything.
You still have toilet paper?
Yes, we do.
We don't have it here, so you're so lucky you have toilet paper.
Plenty. Let me know if I need to ship you some.
Thank you.
So things like that. You are allowed to go to the doctor, of course. You are allowed to go to do your shopping, but just yourself. You are allowed to go to the chemist to buy medicines if necessary, but only one person at a time, unless you need to take a dependent with you. For instance, if imagine that my husband is not in because he's working, then if I need to go out with Marina, I can. But I need to take in my car with me all the time, my ID, and a certificate proving what I'm doing. For instance, when all this started, my boss, he sent me a certificate from work that saying that I'm allowed to come to work. Last week, at the very beginning of this, second day I was coming to work, the police stopped me. So there are controls. If you go to the petrol station, you need to keep the receipt. If you go to the supermarket, you need to keep the receipt. By doing that, and being willing to help the police or the Guardia Civil, by doing that, you are okay. You are okay. Just they stop you because it's their duty. I admire them because they are exposed. So in Torrevieja and Orihuela, everything is working so far. It's okay. It's okay. Just being aware that you need to help them, and if they ask you for your ID, it's because it's their duty, and they are there to protect us. So that's basically.
But good to see that you're so positive. I'm happy to see that.
Of course. Yes. As Freddie said, keep yourself alive. And, it's the way it is. We all are in this. So it's not just something that is affecting me. It's affecting all. And that feeling of, community and to help each other, it's what it is. And it's better to face it with a smile. I cannot... what is the point in moaning and, imagine that this interview is about me telling, oh, this is so bad, it's so restrictive, I cannot go anywhere, I have to be home, oh, my dog, my child. No. We have to, all the best we can, and people I'm talking to, they're the same, they're positive because it's a way to help each other. It's a burden to have to consolate someone that is in the same situation as you. So now is the time to be strong. And, we have to, everything is in a standby. So even our complaints are in a standby as well.
Oh, that's good. So it's much nicer to work there right now, I guess, when there are no complaints.
And thank you so much for doing this, Katie. It's really nice for me to have the opportunity to tell everybody there in LA and all over the world, because I know you have friends all around the world. So
yeah, thank you so much for being part of this. It's so interesting to hear what's going on in Spain. Now we're going to talk to my friend Irina from Russia. We are travel friends. We actually met in Paris when I was filming there and had a day off, and she had a layover. And we decided to explore the city together. And we remained in touch ever since 2012. And now let's see what Irina can tell us about the situation in Moscow. How are you and how is it in Russia right now?
Very nice, I suppose. But as you know, I live in Moscow, and now it's a little bit difficult time for us because from Saturday it was announced that we will have not quarantine by day off, without a strict obligation to stay home, but with the great recommendation from our government. And right now they try to explain people why they need to stay at home and not to go anywhere. And you know that when people have a lot of free time, they always want to go anywhere. In the park, in the swimming pool, on anywhere. And since Saturday, they will not work at all. So they all will be closed.
Oh, since Saturday. Okay. And did they tell you how long it will take until it's over?
9 days, until 5th of April. I mean that in Russia it's very popular to have country house, so it's no problem if you go outside city and you will stay in your country house. But you don't need to be outside in the city. So, but if you are not in this group of people, you don't have any obligation not to stay at home. For example, I didn't go abroad and I don't have any symptom of flu, so I can go outside. But of course, they give some recommendation: do not do it. Some problem will have people who are on quarantine, who recently have.
Oops. Oh yeah, now you're back. The sound was gone but now I hear you again. So sometimes people who are on quarantine, who came back from abroad, are going outside?
Yes, they are not allowed to go outside. So the police, we have a system, a CCTV, I suppose, that's a camera outside in the street. They have some special system how to recognize your face, so they can catch you if you not stay at home. But if you just normal person without any problem with flu, you didn't go abroad, you are not under 65 years ago, no problem. You can go outside, but it's it's your responsibility for your health.
And how do you feel about all of that? What are your feelings?
I don't feel any panic here because, for example, I'm staying at home already 2 weeks because my employee, they decided to allow people work from their home. So we have like home office distance work. Of course, it's very boring stay home because you can do your homework, watch TV. I don't know what else. No, of course, work. But you know that when you work distance, you don't do it so intensively as you at office. It's obviously because you can't do some work which you can do at office. So it's very boring and it's very sad because now the weather in Moscow is very good. It's sunny all day and its temperature very comfortable. And of course, it's obvious that you want to go outside, but it's better to stay at home. Yes. And you know that governments, companies, they try to understand the situation. And for example, we have a special site. So the government, they launched special website where they accumulate information from the government structure, from the business structure about the facilities for people they can receive online when they stay at home. For example, a lot of bookshops, they provide free access to their book base. Education platform also for schoolmates and for the higher education, so you can make some training and all of this for free.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a great idea.
So you can spend this time for your self-education. So that's why I want to use this opportunity because I have more free time now because I'm staying at home, and to take some training and courses online.
That's wonderful. That's a great idea. Maybe we can tell the story how we met, because we met in Paris, I think in 2012.
Yes, we met in Paris. It was, I don't remember how much, it was in 2012.
Yes, 2012, I think February 2012.
February 2012. It was, oh my God, 8 years ago.
Yes, and we were traveling both alone in Paris, and we even went up the Eiffel Tower together.
Yes. When two people alone and they met each other in Paris and they keep in touch for a long time, it's wonderful, I think.
And now Rytis is gonna tell us about the situation in New York. He is a fellow European actor in the US. He is from Lithuania and he lives in New York. And he's a new friend. We recently met because I was a guest on his new online talk show.
I am originally from Lithuania, and in New York I have been, let me do some quick maths, 4.5 years now.
Oh, wow. And can you tell us something about the situation in New York? How are you dealing with the lockdown and what's going on in New York right now?
To be honest, I don't really know what's out in the city, what's happening in there. I'm in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn, so I've been self-quarantined in the house for the last 2 weeks now, I think. So I don't really go out. I have some food. I have all of the things that I need for now. So I just don't even go outside. But just looking out the windows, it seems like there's just almost no one outside. and occasionally you get police sirens going on like around, and they're going somewhere. So I don't know what's up with that, but that's kind of it. I mean, the grocery store is kind of like a bit of a deserted place now because a lot of shelves are just empty because just people are buying everything and anything, I guess. But yeah, I couldn't tell you what's happening like in Manhattan or like in the city overall. I mean, I hear the news, I read it on the news, so I know just as much as anybody else who would do a quick search online.
So do you have toilet paper still? Or is it also like sold out everywhere?
It's definitely sold out. I think it was the first thing to go, like anything related, even related to toilet paper, like hand towels, napkins, and everything else. That was the first shelf to go. But yeah, we're doing pretty good on that front right now.
And are you happy? I've heard that you have a roommate. You told me you have a roommate. Are you happy that you're like locked down with a roommate, with another human being?
Well, actually, it's four of us in here right now. It's my roommate with his girlfriend and our third roommate. So yeah, it is better just, because there's someone that's around in the house. You don't have to be alone in this situation. So yeah, and we do some game nights. We do some stuff together. We cook together. So it kind of, like we keep a human connection with each other. So that's good.
That sounds wonderful. And I also wanted to ask everyone what they are doing right now with having so much downtime while being in self-quarantine. And we have to say that you started a talk show and we just recorded together an episode for your talk show, and I'm honored to be a guest on that. Can you tell us more about your talk show?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for being a guest on my show as well. It was, yeah, so I had this idea ever since all of the places where I worked kind of closed. I thought that, this is going to last for a while, so I better think of something to do. And I think this is prime time for any one of us who can to create from home. I was lucky enough to update my self-taping setup before all of this happened. So I have a tripod for my iPhone. I have a backdrop. This is actually my bed sheet over here. It just looks better than the backdrop. I have some lights.
Cool. I love it.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
Thanks. And yeah, I have some lights in the room as well. So it's my bedroom's now a recording studio. And I wanted to do some sort of a talk show for a while now, but I had some doubts, as everybody else. Before you start something, you're like, am I going to be any good? Are people going to be interested? What am I going to talk about? But then I just sat down. I figured out that I have a lot of people who are friends and just acquaintances who are artists, and we're all kind of in the same boat of like not knowing, it's a transition from our industry, which is very much like face-to-face working with people, creating content out there in the world, and now we can't do that. But that doesn't mean that we can't use all the technology that we have right now to create something from our own house. And I think I'm just trying to be one of those people who just does it. So yeah.
And you're a really fun talk show host. You're great at that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And you're a great guest. It was I think we had a very good rhythm going on. So I do appreciate that a lot.
Yes. Is there anything else you want to say? Otherwise, that was already really good. But if there's anything else you want to share about your feelings or what's going on?
I mean, I think I don't know. I made a conscious effort in this entire situation not to get freaked out, because you're a European in the US on an artist visa, so as well that our situation already is very interesting, being an artist in a different country, with all of the good things and the bad things that come with that. But travel to Europe is kind of non-existent at this moment, at least for the next 5 weeks or so, I think. I didn't see any flights coming out to Europe, so we are here, and I'm lucky enough that I've had some stuff at home before this started, and then I was able to get some more supplies just to have some things in advance. So that's good. I'm lucky enough to have a job from home as well. I'm working from home, so hopefully there's going to be some income in there. So I feel like I'm in a very good position compared to some other people who lost everything. But I think the main thing is to focus on the real information out there. Focus on what your actual government of any country that you are is putting out, not what everyone's opinion is or whatever. but just focusing on the real things, the real issues, and realizing that we can help this if we consciously just stay at home. And we can, as you know, all the experts would say, we can flatten the curve of cases increasing by using social distancing, by using good hand hygiene and all things like that, and also not forgetting to help each other out, connecting with each other. Make sure that you never know. We always assume that other people are doing great, but especially in a time like this, it doesn't hurt for you to maybe even send a mass message to everyone you know and say, hey, how are you doing? Because you never know if that person has somebody, or maybe they're in a tough situation, and like that little gesture of sending out some thoughts to somebody and like reaching out to someone can make a hell of a difference. So I think if people have proven to be not trustworthy to self-quarantine and like to kind of like look after themselves or others as well, because this thing not necessarily hurts you, but you can hurt others without even knowing. So unfortunately, that has been proven in different countries in the world that people cannot be trusted with that. I think the governments are just working and need to work tirelessly to figure out a way for us to get out of the situation. And yeah, just stay informed. Don't be misinformed. Don't give in to the panic or everything. And I mean, I know it's easy for me to say because I'm in a good spot right now, but this is affecting everyone, and we're all still trying to figure it out. So just stay strong and contact each other, talk to people, make sure if you can help others, and you never know who can help you as well in this situation. So I feel like this is the time for all of us to, even though we're freaked out, to connect and to kind of reestablish our connection with each other.
Yes, thank you. That was beautiful what you said about connecting, because I think all of us who are grounded, we didn't do anything and we're all grounded. It is so good to have some kind of human contact, social contact, even if it's only a phone call or a Facebook message.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can go a long way. And I used to practice this even when we weren't in quarantine. Every once in a while, I would just send out some random messages to people saying like, hey, how's it going? What's up with you? And just trying to reconnect that way. So I feel like this is the time for everyone to do it.
Yeah, and I think people like you and me maybe have the little advantage that we have family and friends in Europe and overseas, and we are probably using video calls and Skype and all of these things much more regularly.
Yeah, and definitely. And I mean, yeah, the distance in this situation, the distance helps. But again, it's so easy to forget that even those who are close, or like people you used to work with every day, now you don't see them, and then you just don't think about them or assume that they're fine. Just no matter how you're feeling, just reach out. It's easier to get through things together than to suffer on your own.
And now we're actually gonna talk to the most important man in my life, my dad in Germany. This interview will be partially in English and partially in German. That is because I talk to my dad on Skype every day, and he was so kind to help me to test my recording technology. And therefore we did 2 test interviews in German and 1 real interview in English. But the German interviews were just so good that I wanted to use some parts of that as well. It is also important to know that my parents live half of the time in Germany and half of the time in Spain. And when the pandemic crisis hit us, they were just about to drive from Germany to Spain with the hippie bus. Papa, how is the situation in northern Germany?
Oh, hello and good evening. Greetings from northern Germany. Nice to see you. Yeah, the situation is really cool. The people are very calm, and in the supermarket you can buy nearly everything, and we enjoy our life and wake up in the morning, then go around with the dog in the sunshine. It's allowed to go outside with mostly 2 persons, and everybody is following the rules. The people are really friendly. Today we found a letter in our post box. Young people from the neighborhood offered us to buy necessary things from the supermarket. It's very nice, but we don't need. We can go there for ourselves. Ich bin hier in Bremen. Bremen ist ja das kleinste der 16 Bundesländer. Und ich werde mal erzählen, wie sich da hier so das Leben unter Corona darstellt. Eigentlich läuft es hier ganz entspannt. Seit 3 Tagen gibt es keine Ausgangssperre, sondern eine Kontaktsperre. Das heißt, wir können jederzeit rausgehen. Man kann einkaufen gehen. Man kann auch überall hingehen, wo man möchte. Und es ist ganz erstaunlich, die Menschen hier in Bremen halten sich daran. Ich habe also noch keine Menschenansammlung gesehen, die jetzt dagegen verstoßen. Vereinzelt hört man davon, dass die Polizei dann so Gruppen aufgelöst hat von so ganz Unvernünftigen, die dann doch noch schnell eine Corona-Party mit 20 Leuten feiern wollten. Aber werden dann ganz schnell aufgelöst. Und eine kleine Bar haben sie erwischt. Die haben von innen die Scheiben alle abgeklebt und darunter dann doch noch den Betrieb eröffnet. Einen haben sie jetzt nochmal, ist die Polizei hin, hat einer im Internet eingeladen zu einer großen Hausparty.
Oh nein.
Und ja, ist die Polizei hingefahren, er hatte aber noch gar keinen, es war noch gar keiner da. Beziehungsweise dieser öffentliche Aufruf hatte zur Folge, dass die schon die Polizei angerufen haben und gesagt, da spinnt wohl einer. Er wollte eine riesige Hausparty machen, vielleicht wollte die auch nur die Polizei ärgern. Sind dann aber gekommen und er hat ja erst nur dazu eingeladen. Mal sehen, ob das schon eine Straftat ist. Mal gucken. Also das sind so diese Kleinigkeiten, dass es immer Leute gibt, die sich dann irgendwie profilieren müssen. Und natürlich dann die Schutzmasken jetzt im Internet ganz teuer fürs 10-fache verkaufen wollen.
Nein.
Aber das sind Einzelfälle. Im Großen und Ganzen ist es sehr angenehm, es ist sehr ruhig, wenn man hier spazieren geht. Und auch beim Einkaufen halten sich die Menschen an die Abstandsregelungen. Ich war heute bei der Apotheke, habe noch ein paar Medikamente geholt und da hatten sie in der einen Apotheke nur die Nachtluke geöffnet. Also, dass man gar nicht rein konnte, sondern auch, wo es Tag war, musste man sich draußen an die Luke stellen und wurde dann aber auch genauso gut bedient. Es gab auch genügend Medikamente, es ist alles da. Und auch in den Supermärkten ab und zu gibt es noch Hamsterkäufe, dass die Leute dann doch mehr kaufen, als sie eigentlich brauchen. Aber da habe ich noch von keinen großen Krisensituationen was bemerkt. Ist eher ganz entspannt. Wir können auch ganz gut damit umgehen. Meine Frau Anne, also deine Mama, wir können gut miteinander aus. Wir haben Bücher zum Lesen, wir können auf dem Balkon sitzen in der Sonne. Es gibt ja genügend soziale Medien, auch wie wir jetzt gerade per Skype oder per WhatsApp oder wir können telefonieren. Ist also eigentlich ganz entspannt und man kann wirklich das Beste daraus machen. Ich glaube, schwierig ist es für Menschen, die jetzt um ihren Arbeitsplatz fürchten müssen, die jetzt in Kurzarbeit sind oder in Quarantäne sich befinden zur Sicherheit. Das ist sicherlich ganz schwierig. Wir können also ganz dankbar sein, dass wir hier im Grunde ganz in Frieden leben können. Und man hat auch das Gefühl, dass die Menschen mit den Regelungen der Regierung auch einverstanden sind, dass man eben versucht, die Infektionskurve möglichst flach zu halten. Die Anzahl der Infizierten geht auch zurück, also die relative Anzahl. Der erste Patient im Land Bremen ist jetzt auch verstorben gestern, aber der erste Tote, aber der ist schon sehr, sehr krank und hatte ganz viele Vorerkrankungen und war auch schon in einem Pflegeheim und ist da dann auch betreut worden.
Half of the time you live in Spain and half of the time you live in Germany, and now you decided to stay in Germany, right?
That's right. 3 weeks ago we just were about to go to Spain. It's 2,500 kilometers. We just prepared our camper. But then we heard that the borders were closed, firstly from Spain, and then between Spain and France and Luxembourg also. And so we are lucky to stay here because the weather is bad in Spain also. Now we have here about 15 to 16 degrees and it's nearly springtime. So we are very patient to wait. And maybe we can go to Spain next winter or next year. It doesn't matter. Because we are very happy to stay here with a very good German health system.
Do you still have toilet paper in Germany?
Yes, you find they make a lot of jokes. In the neighborhood, there's a butchery, and when you buy some meat for around 10 euros, you get a toilet paper for free. And also there's a baker's shop. They create a cake in the shape of a toilet roll. But now it's only allowed to get 1 pack. They smile and say, no, sorry, you can take only one. But it's okay. Das Toilettenpapier-Phänomen ist in Deutschland ja auch ganz seltsam. Also manche nehmen das auch Humor. Und sonst, die Polizei hat wenig zu tun, weil die ja nur durch die Gegend fahren müssen und gucken, wo sich Leute häufen. Und ansonsten gehen sie alle ganz brav im gewissen Abstand. Einige Supermärkte, wird wahrscheinlich in Amerika so ähnlich sein, haben so Wachpersonal davor, die lassen dann immer nur 30 oder 40 Leute rein, damit sie im Laden tatsächlich die 2 Meter Abstand halten können. Ne? Wir nehmen es ganz gelassen und müssen uns ja auch zum Glück keine Sorgen um unsere Existenz machen. Schade ist so, die Leute, die jetzt selbstständig sind, ein kleines Unternehmen haben oder auch die Künstler und Musiker kriegen ja zum Teil jetzt auch große Schwierigkeiten. Aber es soll wohl demnächst auch Unterstützung kommen.
Oh, und kannst du vielleicht noch die Geschichte erzählen, wie du Oma besucht hast, weil ja keiner kommen durfte ins Altenheim?
Ach, ja.
Das ist eine schöne Geschichte.
Ja. Im Seniorenheim ist ja auch eine Besuchssperre, da ist ja auch alles zu. Und Oma war dann auch ein bisschen traurig, dass sie jetzt keinen Besuch mehr kriegt. Und da hatte ich die Idee stammt auch von einem anderen Altenheim, da habe ich davon gelesen, dass die ein Balkonzimmer zur Verfügung gestellt haben, wo die Leute sich anmelden konnten und dann hat der Bewohner drin gesessen oder ist aus diesem Apartment raus auf dem Balkon und mit 3-4 Meter Abstand standen dann die Angehörigen auf der anderen Seite, konnten sie sich sehen und auch die Stimme hören und die Idee hatte ich dann auch, dann bin ich da hingefahren und musste ich dann erstmal ganz vorsichtig gucken, wie ich dann unter den Balkon komme, weil der in so einem Waldgebiet lag, aber ich bin da durch so ein kleines Wäldchen durchspaziert und habe Oma Elfriede dann angerufen und mich erstmal so mit ihr unterhalten und war auch ein bisschen traurig. Und dann habe ich gesagt, jetzt habe ich aber eine Überraschung für dich. Zieh dir mal eine warme Jacke an und geh mal auf den Balkon. Und dann war natürlich die Freude groß und sie war gar nicht zu bremsen. Und haben wir noch so lustige Geschichten gemacht, habe ich gerufen, sagt, Rapunzel, lass dein Haar herunter. Aber das Haar war leider nicht lang genug, sonst hätte ich ja hochklettern können. Sie hat dann auch im Altenheim gleich was zu erzählen gehabt. Sie war die Einzige, die an dem Tag Besuch gekriegt hat. Die anderen natürlich wissen, wie das geklappt hat. Ja, das war natürlich, fand ich nur so, das war so für sie das Highlight des Tages. Ansonsten leiden die alten Leute auch besonders, weil die auch auf die Besuche angewiesen sind. Auch die dementen Leute, wo man denkt, wir nehmen gar nicht mehr so viel wahr. Die vermissen das sehr, wenn sie diese bekannten Gesichter dann nicht haben. Ne? Aber sonst war sie guter Dinge, hat heute auch nochmal angerufen. It was very nice to see you, my love, and I wish everybody who is listening to this interview keep watching yourself and keep your health and enjoy your life. Best greetings from Germany. Bye-bye.
Next we're gonna talk to my dear friend Camille. She's a fellow actress in LA and she's originally from New Orleans. And her husband is an astrologer. And you might find that her face looks familiar to you. That is because she starred in Vice, she was in Shameless, and she just made a video with the Killers. And now she's gonna tell us how she's experiencing the situation in LA and what's it like in New Orleans right now. How are you and what are you doing right now?
I have to get used to looking at the camera, not your face. I'm all right. I mean, you know, it's weird because we all view things like this with our own perspective of our own spirituality, our own personal needs of survival, and everything else rolled into a big reaction. So, you know, it's interesting to, in my case, as an actress, you know, the whole industry is shut down. So what can you do? I mean, I had a music video come out the other day and I posted it and then I felt bad. I was like, what if people think that's insensitive of me to post something trivial in this time of craziness?
No,
and I'm
we
like,
have to.
I'm sorry, I'm happy. My music
Yes.
video came out. What are you going to do? You know,
And it was for the Killers. We have to say that maybe for the audience. It was a really cool album video for the Killers.
Yeah, that's a music film actually. So there's a short version called Caution, which is a single, but we did a long version, which is a whole film to go with the album. It's called an album film, which I'd never heard of before.
Me neither.
And it has dialogue. We have lines. So it's really neat, and that's coming out with the album release at the end of May, I believe.
Oh, that's so cool. So you still at least have something cool that you recently did. And
Yeah, I mean, I was excited because I got to work with Griffin Dunn from This Is Us, which is one of my favorite shows.
I know.
So that was really wild. So that's like the only good news in my career since the virus.
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing 2 episodics. I did 2 roles that are recurring in, one was in a pilot and one is in another show. The pilot is called King of K Street. And very funny. It's a series about lobbyists in Washington, D.C.
Oh, sounds good.
I play the mother of the main character, and I'm also a news director at a cable news network. So it's a very high-powered Washington, D.C. woman, and I had a blast doing that. And then the other series is called Solve. And Solve is an app on your phone. It started on Snapchat and got bigger and bigger, and they do murder mysteries. So I played a mom of a main character on that as well. And that's yet to be released. As far as I know, everything's on hold. So what do you do? I am delivering food, of all things. And it's kind of fun, actually. So I cruise around. I try to work the good neighborhoods where I don't have to deal with parking meters and too many apartment buildings. So I work out in the West Valley, and I deliver food and look at the sky and listen to the radio and, you know, make people happy.
Yeah, that's so great that you still get to connect with people and to help people who cannot go out and get food.
Yeah. So what are you doing, Katie?
I try to make a lot of videos, and I'm talking to a lot of my friends right now, and it's so cool also that you're a part of this video. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, you know, I'm not feeling particularly creative. I'm kind of in survival mode. I also am doing some marketing of my husband because my husband's a famous astrologer, and Jeff Harmon, and he actually predicted this crisis for years in all of his newsletters and interviews. He said, oh, we're going to have this Saturn-Pluto conjunction in January 2020, and it's going to be a big deal. And he said we had this thing called a Saturn-Pluto opposition when 9/11 happened. And then we had a Saturn-Pluto square when the 2008 housing market crash happened. And so he said, whatever's going to happen in 2020, January, is going to be worse than both of those. And he's been saying that forever, but he didn't exactly see it be a virus. He was more concerned with social unrest and war and that kind of scenario. So hopefully this doesn't escalate into those other things. And then I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic, actually, specifically. So, you know, I'm reacting to it like God is punishing us for all of our sins.
No, I hope that God will save us. I really believe that God will save us.
I mean, you can't guess the mind of God and who lives and who dies and what lessons are to be gained from things too much. I mean, you can guess, but you can't trust that your guesses are exactly correct. And everyone has different ideas of what sin is these days.
Yes.
Like some people think it's a sin to pollute the earth, or it's a sin to eat animals, or, you know, it's a sin to, I don't know, whatever. You know, and other people stick with the more like traditional sins. So, you know, people don't even agree on what a sin is anymore. So there you go.
But I honestly have hope that God will save us. I believe that God is good and will save us.
He'll save a lot of us. I don't know. A lot of people will die, and everyone dies. No one gets out alive. So it's a matter of when. And while we're here, we need to be good, you know, obedient, kind people is how I see it, and try to be holy, actually. The goal in life is not to be happy. It's supposed to actually be to be holy. And that's really hard to, like, reprogram yourself from what society teaches us, which is that your goal in life is to be happy. And it's like, good luck with that. It'll come and go. But, you know, humanity is a fallen group of entities. And we have suffering. And suffering is part of being human. And so you have to learn how to deal with suffering and death as well as being happy. When you can be happy, that's great.
But I think if you live like that, you will be happy. I think this is like maybe the consequence. One might be the consequence of the other. I mean, I hope at least for myself.
No, I think it's a reality check in some level in a lot of ways for all of us. Jeff says, for what it's worth, that things will get better in late April, early May, which is hopeful. And that by December, we have this other thing, a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, which is supposed to be really good and means the world will be restructured in a good way and have a lot of advancement in technology and medical breakthroughs and things. So it's kind of like the year of breaking down structures and rebuilding them. And, you know, everyone's going to argue about, ooh, goody, everything's crashing and burning. How are we going to restructure it better? And they're going to argue about what that could look like. So.
You live in Calabasas. How does it look there? Is this also looking like a ghost town right now?
No, I mean, there's activity, you know, it's the traffic isn't bad, but I don't actually live in Calabasas. I live in West Hills, but I do go to Calabasas, you know, to shop and stuff. It's right next to us. So, you know, I deliver in Calabasas. I'm delivering in Agora Hills, Malibu, Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley. It's nice out here, I must say. And I feel safer doing it for now. I mean, unless we get into total riots and craziness, then I'll stop doing it altogether, obviously. But it keeps me busy. And, you know, I work at home with my husband anyway, so we have a lot of togetherness. And so it can get a little
too much together.
Yeah, too much togetherness. And so he's working on his research. He's doing a lot of interviews and stuff. So I'm letting him have some space to, you know, take notes, do research, do his clients, do interviews. He's trying to put some YouTube videos out. And I'm like, yes, please do that. You know, we're a team here, and it makes me really sad that I can't go to church, and they closed the churches. We have live mass, so that's good. We all need to do what we can to get through this period and stay helpful and useful and hopeful. It's like I knew this was coming, but we weren't prepared. I mean, we hadn't saved, you know, a ton of money or anything that we should have been doing, you know, to like really be ready for this. We didn't know that it was going to like shut down the whole world.
Yeah, I know. And it's also hard to save money in LA. I mean, if you're self-employed, sorry, you first.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to say if you're self-employed and in LA, it's really hard to save money. So.
It is, because the expenses are so crazy, the rent and the gas and everything, utilities, you know, and we've thought about, like, should we get out of here and go move back to Arizona or whatever? I really don't want to do that. I really hope the entertainment industry comes back, because I was just getting going. And my son, too. My son wants to be a stunt man, and he took a precision driving class, and he's, like, raring to go and be a driver in movies and television, so... You know, that's his thing, and I hope he can live that dream, and I hope it all comes back quickly. You know, we all do.
I hope so too. I also booked my first lead in a feature, and that's also now postponed or maybe cancelled. But I mean, we have bigger problems right now, and I just hope that it will all start again where we left off with the business after it opens again.
Yeah, it's good to feel useful in a different way right now, you know, even if it's driving food around. Holidays and check in on other relatives and friends. And I called my friend Nicole in New Orleans today. New Orleans is getting hit really hard with this virus. And Mardi Gras did not help. It actually probably spread it.
Oh, no, yeah.
Which was in February. It was pretty recent. They're seeing really high numbers in New Orleans, and that's where I'm from, so that's me. I'm wearing my University of New Orleans shirt.
Oh, so good. You're like showing solidarity. That's good.
I don't know. We just have to watch the show, get the popcorn.
Yes, and pray that we will all get through this unharmed.
Yes. Pray for our leaders. Pray for all the leaders that they have discernment and fortitude and physical strength and, you know, do the right things.
Our next guest is one of my best friends in Finland. John is originally from New Zealand, but he lives in Helsinki, Finland, and that's where we met in a meditation group. John is a musician, an engineer, and a professor at Aalto University in Helsinki. And since he's one of my best friends, you might know him from some of my comedy videos we did together back in Finland. John is going to tell us now what's going on in Helsinki and also what's going on in New Zealand.
Finland is they've just passed the law that to limit traffic from the kind of capital area, which is called Uusimaa or New Land or something like that, New Land for Svenska, to the greater part of Finland to try and slow down the infection. So because we've got the best healthcare in this area, but it would very much overload the rest of the services in the country if it would get sort of out, although it does exist in some other places as well. And we're all in kind of, I would say, voluntary lockdown. It's not like the army is going around the street or something like in Italy and Spain, you know, forcing people to be in, but they're monitoring the situation. And, you know, if people take the thing seriously, then I think it'll stay as it is. But if people sort of, you know, it's hard to say. The cases are still going up in Finland. They're saying most of the infections are coming because I think perhaps slightly, in my opinion, stupidly, Finland has asked Finns to come back from other countries. And so they're bringing infection in. And that was criticized on a TV program, Our Talk, last night. And I noticed they're changing their policy because for a while, they were just letting people come in and not testing them. And then they were going home through or going wherever they went in the public transport. And that was considered quite a you know, serious way of getting this thing spreading. Yeah. So, you know, it's a bit controversial, but I guess Finns abroad feel Finland has a very good healthcare system, and it may be safer to be here than, for example, in Spain or, you know, where a lot of Finns spend their winter and stuff like that. So, but it seems it's having quite a big effect on the economy, as it is, of course, in America. But the government and the European Union are sort of promising to sort of help out small businesses. Oh, well, I'm just a bit lucky myself because I'm working in a university. So, you know, if this carries on for a year or two, funding might dry up. But anyway, I can work at home. But so a lot of people are working remotely, or most people. And that means I've got to actually give an exam for the course I teach online and, you know, challenges like that. And some students need a bit of perhaps help, maybe psychologically as well, because everyone's locked up, you know, and for a meditator like me that's done 3-month retreats, that's no problem. But
yeah, right. You're so well prepared.
It can be a problem. More social people, you know, I've noticed 1 or 2 friends don't seem to have got, you know, sort of, so it's just a matter of somehow slightly disciplining friends that don't quite understand the seriousness of it and that kind of thing. So that's Finland. You know, Finland's a fairly organised place. Perhaps it took a little bit long to get organised, but I think it's been done pretty well here. And, you know, so let's see what happens. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Did you want to know about New Zealand?
Yes, of course.
My sister and brother-in-law and on Skype 2 days ago, and they're actually they've gone into a more serious lockdown, even though they've got far fewer cases than in Europe or in America. But I think they're really trying to sort of stop it, you know, earlier on. They've sort of gone into even a more serious lockdown than perhaps Finland, but they're sort of doing it in good humour. For example, I heard today they're working at home, but they're dressing up in full suits and, you know, they're making a costume show of how they're working or something like that. There's sort of kind of some down under humour about how they're handling it. Apparently the same in Australia. So,
but it's good. Maybe it helps you to keep some routine and to keep some kind of sense of normality and of normal life. First, we had only rain here, and I spent really 2 days only meditating because I was also kind of anxious, and I was like, what shall I do? It's anyway raining. I don't want to even go outside. But I was just meditating and trying to clear my head. And yeah, no, I understand that, but it can help people, I think, to keep a certain routine and to feel maybe like, hey, I'm putting makeup on. I feel like, yeah, it's more normal. I don't know. I hope.
Yeah, maybe I'm a bit slack on that front, but I did shave 2 or 3 days ago. So.
Oh, thank you. I'm here also without makeup, meditation retreat style. Yeah.
We're trying not to go to the shops too much, maybe every 2nd or 3rd day, and you know, normally we would sort of get what we need every day, but just to lessen the risk there. And I was happy the other day that I noticed they put plexiglass screens between the shop, protection screens between the cashier, so there couldn't be like, you know, somebody coughs or something.
Yeah.
So that made me feel good for them, because those people, of course, the healthcare people are in the front line, and a bit worried until a few days ago how much risk these people in the shops were taking. And they're closing the pubs and nightclubs as well, because apparently people who drink and do that kind of thing don't care too much about these things. They're a bit traumatic for some people, but anyway.
Oh, I guess so, especially in Finland.
As a musician, gigs have been cancelled and things like that. And Nirata, the meditation group, we're not sitting there giving the Tuesdays through Zoom. So Joha has been facilitating. I don't know if you want to connect with those, but they're going on. They go out live online. So Nirota was quite quick at closing its doors, realizing that in a small space.
Now you're back. We were disconnected, but you said Niroda already. By the way, Niroda is the place where we met, the wonderful meditation group. And I will text Juha. I will ask him if I can join.
Yeah, try, because go to the website and see what they might have those things recorded. I don't know. So, otherwise I'm working hard, student time, a lot of research pressure. And I don't know if you can see some musical instruments through that camera.
I know your clarinet is there, and I see a lot of papers. Do you have more time now to play music, or is it just because you work so much for the university, is it the same like before?
It's been kind of just about the same, but today I did manage to blow on the saxophone a little bit. But the teaching's taken quite a lot of time, and I think I need to step out a bit for the students and help them if they're having problems.
And are you picking up any new instruments now during the lockdown?
Not really, but last year I played in a musical where I was encouraged not just to play the clarinet, but to play the saxophone, the alto sax, which I used to play at school many, many years ago. And also I learnt the flute, the ordinary flute.
I see the saxophone here in the corner.
Exotic flutes, but not the regular flute. And so I had to learn that. So that was before this lockdown, but the lockdown gives me a bit of a chance to sort of get those going again, and also the main instrument, the clarinet. But I don't think I'll be learning any new instruments, but maybe try to get back some lost technique on the ones I do play for when the gigs come again.
Yeah, I hope it will all pick up soon again. But did they tell you anything in Finland how long this voluntary lockdown will last?
No, they're talking about until about 2/3 of the way through April, but nobody really believes it'll be finished by then. They have to sort of implement the measures now and then see what the trend is, but of course they're worried about if they let things go back to normal too quickly, then there'll be a second peak. Some people are saying it's going to be kind of, I don't know if it's going to be as locked down as it is now, but we'll have to be very careful until there's actually a vaccination, which could take a year or a year and a half, although maybe it'll be quicker because the rich white world have got this problem, so it'll probably get resources. That's a bit of a sad thing, but, it's kind of illness affects the people in the rich world, and so the solutions may be more motivated when things are happening in developing countries and so on, but it's going to be much harder in the developing countries, of course, like everything like this. But I think on the positive side, where hopefully people are waking up to realize how interconnected we are and how vulnerable the human animal is, and just cause us to sort of see ourselves in the context of the ecology and with relation to each other. And, I think also people are making connections with people they haven't connected to for a long time and stuff like that. I mean, for example, I hardly ever Skype with my sister, but we talked just 2 or 3 days ago. I just got some security scan wanted to run on my computer. Sorry, I just stopped it.
Oh, is it a virus scan, maybe? No.
There could be some positive stuff comes out of this.
Yeah, I just hope that we will all be much more grateful afterwards when we get through this and not take stuff for granted anymore like we're doing now.
Exactly, yeah. So a slight good thing is probably the CO2 emissions are down a bit now when industry is slowed down. And apparently they can breathe the air in Beijing and Shanghai, and the water in Venice and the canals is clear, and there are even dolphins coming there, so maybe this will cause people to see what we've done to the environment as well and think, well, hang on, Anyway, those things, but of course a lot of people are dying, and the old people in Spain and Italy, it's been really quite terrible. I think in America it's not too good either, in New York, and you're in California, I guess.
Yeah, here I think New York is worse even. New York has the most cases, but here it's also getting more and more by the day.
Yeah, New York and I think New Orleans, because they just had the Mardi Gras there, and people are packed in, and, it spread. And people from other countries and so on, so important to be careful. So what's life for you? Are you allowed to go out and get food?
On Wednesday I went to the supermarket and I just walked for 4 miles, and it felt so good just to walk outside in the sunshine, and I was just so happy about getting exercise and seeing other human beings, even so also from a distance, 1.5 meters away.
I think that's important, and if you can respect that distance thing, then it's just best to get out and get fresh air and sunlight, and apparently the virus doesn't like ultraviolet light either. So, I mean, in that sense, it might be healthy to get outside in the sun. Because I think we're also encouraged to, the messages are mixed, they say you should stay inside, but then again, they're saying it doesn't mean old people can't leave their home, they should just not get close to other people. Of course, Finland's easier, it's less crowded, and people keep distance by nature anyway, so it's...
Yes, I was thinking that it's a big advantage for the Finnish culture that you have this bigger distance between each other in everyday life.
Yeah, that's true. I think it comes more naturally to Finns than to French and Italians and Spanish who, hugging and kissing a lot more, so... But still, it's hard for children to understand that. I mean, I was in a supermarket and some young kids came really close and I sort of looked around and then the mother quickly pulled them back, and sort of things like that. I mean, I just smiled. I didn't want...
Yeah. Do you have maybe any recommendation for people who are stuck at home, what they could do?
If they play music, do that, do stretches, yoga, and try meditation. Just watch the breathing, be with what's happening. Possibly if people are too cerebral and, like me, working long hours and stuff like that, then the mind is racing around, and I find rather than watching the thoughts, it's better just to settle into the body and what that's doing, and that sort of grounds the experiencing. I mean, that's from a meditation angle, but that's not everybody's cup of tea. But there's a lot of good stuff on the internet. If you're not looking at screens too much, then, use that positively. So there are good exercise videos and great talks. I like watching Buddha at the gas pump. They're really good reviews.
We watched that together. I remember I watched it too. Yeah.
To broaden the mind and, catch up with things, read books.
My friend Jessica from Australia is a fellow actress. And she moved back from Australia to LA right before the crisis hit. She's really a sunshine. She will make you smile. Jessica is a fellow actress. And she's from Australia, but she just got back to LA, right?
Yes, just back in time to be quarantined, basically.
But so you can tell us about your experiences here in LA and also about what's going on in Australia.
Yeah, so I don't know about everyone else, but I am, doing the quarantine and I'm staying at home. I started a little bit before it was mandated because I'm high risk. So I was just trying to be extra cautious and all that stuff. And then speaking to my family at home, it's it seems like it's a little bit lax there. They just finally closed restaurants and things.
We just got frozen and disconnected, but we will manage. So you just said in Australia it's not that strict as here.
Yeah. No, they're just starting to catch up to where LA is. I was just saying that their restaurants were still open up until a couple of days ago. Where people were allowed to be in a restaurant as long as they were sitting 6 feet apart, but they finally closed the restaurants to delivery only. So, yeah, we will see. And I've had a few friends just fly back to Australia, and they are being put up in a hotel for 14 days to stay quarantined.
But they get a hotel. They don't go home. They go into a hotel?
Yes, because if they have family, unless they have accommodation, like their own house, where they have no one else around, but if they have family or friends living with them, then they have to go into a hotel.
Oh, wonderful, because the German government just told me when I was asking in case, because I don't have an apartment in Germany.
Right.
They said, we don't know. Good luck. And so, but it's good that the Australian government is taking care of that.
Okay, I've moved to my phone.
Okay.
Maybe my phone will be better luck.
Okay, wait, I will turn up the sound so we hear you. Yeah, no, it should work.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so that's sort of so in Germany they didn't know what they're gonna do yet.
Yeah, they said maybe you could go to a homeless shelter was the answer I got from the German embassy, and I was just like, because I'm also kind of high risk, I've got asthma, and so I thought no. And I just wanted to know in case that they say Germans have to come home, I want to stay here, but just in case I wanted to have an emergency plan, and they were just like, yeah. Sorry, we don't really know, but good luck. So they didn't mean it in a bad way, but they don't have a plan for this in place right now.
Yeah, and this is for Australia, it seems like it's a fairly new plan, because when my friends left last week, they are staying at a friend's house, but they had to organize it themselves, and they were like, if you don't have it, then you can get a hotel or an Airbnb or something like that. But now the Australian government is actually going to pick random hotels, I think, near the airport, it sounds like.
Oh.
And put people up specifically in those hotels as like a quarantined area.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but that sounds like a very reasonable plan.
Yeah, and the same reason I was only asking because I was like, what if I have to come home, or things escalate and who knows what could happen? And they're like, everyone has to go to their own country.
I know, you never know. And would there still be flights for you? Could you book a regular flight back to Australia now?
See, I'm not sure because I know Qantas and Virgin stopped doing international flights, but it looks like Air New Zealand and a couple of other airlines are doing very few flights from LA to Australia. So they were really cheap when I wanted to go, and now they're slowly raising their prices. And I'm like, I guess because there's less flights now.
Yeah, and what are you doing with all your time right now that you have?
Well, I've always worked from home, so I'm still working from home. It's very, very slow, though, because we're an entertainment-based company, so there's not that much filming or happening. So, yeah. So I'm trying to be creative, do, acting and learning monologues and trying to get my electronic press kit together so that when we do go back out into the world, I have all my materials ready to try and, book some stuff. We've also decided to not put so much pressure on myself on certain things because I feel like everyone thinks that they have to come out of this having written, the next great novel or, the best screenplay ever. And I'm like, we've actually got time that a lot of us haven't had in a really long time. So I'm reading books and doing some painting and things that, we're always like, oh, I wish I had time to do this, and now we do.
Yes, that's wonderful. We have to make the best out of it.
Yes. I'm still in pajamas, which is very lazy.
Oh, I just changed out of my pajamas. I just did 2 interviews in my pink nightgown and just put some pullover over it. And I just changed for this, but it looks beautiful with the red and the green wall.
Yeah, I was being lazy today. Because I work from home normally, they say when you work from home, you should always have a designated workspace. And you should always get up and get changed, even if it's comfortable, but change out of pajamas. And so I try to do that regularly. But now that everyone's working from home, I'm being a little less strict about it.
No, I understand. And when else? I mean, there won't be any other time probably soon where you can do your work in pajamas. I think you have to really just take the opportunities as they come.
Exactly. And how are you doing with all of this? How's your family and?
They are okay. Quarantined in Germany. And my friends are quarantined in Finland. And they have food. I told my dad to get medication and toilet paper in time. And so they are good at home. There's also an interview with my dad probably that will be in this year.
Oh, that's very cool. Because I'm assuming that Germany is similar to here with the lockdown. I feel like Australia is the only country that's very loosey-goosey at the moment. They were sort of stay at home, stay 6 feet apart, nothing was in place, and then they just closed restaurants. My brother sends me videos and there's people at the beach and wandering around and life looks like normal. So a little bit quieter in the touristy areas, but yeah, it seems like everyone's sort of choosing, what they want to do, but we'll see how it develops.
Do you have anything else, advice for people what they could do when they're home?
Don't put so much pressure on yourself. If you want to write something or create something, do it, but don't feel like you have to come out of this with this great, amazing thing. Take the time. I want to think that whatever you believe in, whether it's God or the universe or whatever, that it's kind of a massive, energy shift for us to just take the time and do things that we may have not had time to do before.
Yes, and trust that it will turn out well and that we will all get out of this healthy and as better people. I hope so much that we will be much more grateful afterwards when we can go to restaurants again and do all the stuff that we took for granted for so long.
Oh, I know. I'm just going to see my friends for tea, which is obviously something I love to go do, but now I'm I will definitely go more often and be more social. But at the moment, I'm going to stay home, keep myself safe, keep my friends and family safe.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you know what? When this is over, we should have tea.
Yes, absolutely. It's one of those things that we're we should meet up, and we always get busy. So now that we, you can't take it for granted anymore, we will definitely meet up.
We stopped the interview and wanted to talk in private, and then we had some so good thoughts that we have to come back now. So
yes, so the first thing I was saying was about my family. So I was saying I'm on a US visa here, so I plan on staying while I'm still working. But that, my family's a little bit worried and freaked out, I think, and they want me to come home, obviously. But I think we're just going to play it by ear, week by week, see what changes, and then do what we have to do. But I plan on staying.
That's good. Me too.
Yeah.
Maybe we can fly out together and see each other at the airport before we fly back to our different native countries. We should have tea.
Like,
then we need.
Like, oh.
Yeah, and we definitely would have to have tea at the airport then.
Yes, definitely. Like 6 feet away from each other.
Exactly. Properly, yes.
Probably. But I'm hoping that it is all over fairly soon. I heard that China, it's been 7 weeks of lockdown and they're starting to go back to normal life. I don't know how accurate that information is, but that's what I heard.
Yeah.
But the other thing that we were saying is that, we will come out on the other end of this, and I think it's important to really stay positive, because I think it's a really scary time for a lot of people, and sometimes when we're scared, we can, get negative or freak ourselves out a little bit, and we just have to sort of stay happy and bright and focused on, the good parts, and not let the scariness get to us, and not let the misinformation get to us either.
Next, we're going to talk to 2 people in Finland. My dear friends Julie and Harri. Harri is a fellow stand-up comedian, and we had a lot of gigs together back in Finland. And Julie is his wife from Brazil. She's an engineer and a pole dance champion, and we also volunteered together at the Helsinki Animal Shelter.
Okay, now we're fully prepared for the coronavirus.
Yes.
And the moose too.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How is the situation in Helsinki right now?
It's pretty bad. There's rioting on the streets, and people are looting and killing people all over the place. I'm lying.
I know it now. Now we can tell the truth, because now people will think the truth is really good.
Yes, that's a good technique.
Yeah, people are staying at home, and toilet paper hasn't run out from the stores, which was pretty stupid to begin with, because Finland makes all the paper in the world, so people really didn't have to worry about toilet paper. But there were some people hoarding toilet paper, and that was just dumb.
Yeah.
Yes, but at the moment they closed the province of Uusimaa. That's basically Helsinki and surroundings. So I think that's the strongest measure they had taken so far.
Yeah, this is where you put on screen the Escape from Uusimaa poster that I made.
Oh yes, you can send that to me. We will definitely put that on the screen.
I think that maybe comparing to other places, I don't feel like it's so bad. Maybe because it's Finland and nobody comes here.
Yes.
So yeah, it's not like Italy and France that there are tourists all the time. So I think the spread hasn't been so bad here, but people are taking care and staying home. I'm doing home office now from my engineering work. I'm staying at home and doing home office. And I used to do my pole dancing at home anyway, so that part didn't change much.
Yeah, I'm not doing shit.
But you can watch her dance. You can watch her practice.
Yeah.
You're the only person right now who has a live entertainment show. Probably one of the few people in the world who gets live entertainment.
Yeah. And also I tell her a lot of jokes, because they have to come out sometime.
Yeah, so I also get live entertainment.
Oh, good. And Julie, can you tell us about the situation in Brazil?
Yes, the situation there, I think it's pretty bad. Not only because of the spread of the disease, but also because, people are locking down, people are staying at home, and then the streets are empty, and then it's dangerous for people to go out, not only because of the virus, but because there is a lot of assault, and it's dangerous not to have anybody, you can get robbed and mugged. So people are more afraid than in the usual times. So that I consider it pretty bad. And right now, I think what I understood is that our president there is telling people to start going back to work, which I don't think it's a very good idea. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, and what are you guys doing except of pole dancing, giving each other live entertainment? Do you have any recommendations for people what they can do during the lockdown?
I think one good thing, from my perspective as a dancer, it's a good thing that people are sharing more their contents on the platforms like Instagram and YouTube, and they are going live more often. So if you can't go to a studio, at least you can have like your instructors on some internet platform, and then you can keep being like inspired. You don't have to stop your workout and your practices. So I think that's at least something very nice. And the challenges have been going around. They're very funny. We have the toilet paper challenge.
Oh, really?
Where, yeah.
How does that work?
Like I just posted today on my stories, like a friend of mine challenged me, and then she was doing, like holding her leg like this, and then put the toilet paper on top of her feet, try to balance. So we're entertaining ourselves with this kind of silly things.
I think what people can do to like support live entertainment and stuff, watch people on YouTube, like comedians, watch their own channels on YouTube instead of maybe the big channels. Like support the comedians themselves directly, like give them views, likes, and subscribes and shit. Because that's basically the only thing we have right now. I am working on a thing that might enable comedians to do like live streams. Because regular live streaming doesn't really work for stand-up comedy, because stand-up lives in the audience reactions, right? So we need to figure out a way to bring that to a live stream. So it's a little bit tricky, but we're working on it. The project doesn't have a name yet, but it should be coming in the next couple of weeks or so. Hopefully we can get something up and.
Cool, I would love to join that. That sounds amazing.
Yes, and it's nice because it brings another source of not only entertainment but also interaction with people at home.
Yeah, and the idea is to make it like a live venue where you can actually charge for tickets. You actually kind of have to charge for tickets at least a little bit, and I hope people like that and realize that live entertainment is still live, even if it's on a live stream, and the artist, whoever is doing it, has to do the same work to provide it, and pay for the marketing, pay for the venue, so the tickets might not be free.
Yeah, because I think the most affected people are the people who are like entrepreneurs and they have to work for themselves. I have lots of friends, like not only Harri, that's my husband, but I have a lot of friends who need to work like on a daily basis, like giving classes and all this. So I think, yes, people need to be conscious about it and understand about that. Like you need to try to support these people. And how are you there in LA?
I'm at home. I don't have toilet paper, but I have these kind of Kleenex things that saves me. And I got some food. No, we don't have. We don't have toilet paper. Can I buy some from Finland? Or can you send me some? I want a big package of toilet paper. Made in Finland. No, it's okay. I mean, it's the same, I guess, like in many places. We can go to the supermarket and to the pharmacy, but we're not really allowed to do anything else. And I try to make a lot of YouTube content and redecorated my home and stuff. And
Today I just talked to a friend who lives in some bar in the Caribbean islands. And she told me that the island's closed and they can go out for like a pharmacy or grocery store, but they need to have like a signed paper with permission to leave home. It's very crazy.
That might still be coming here.
Yeah, I guess that will come here too. And I have friends on Tenerife, and that's the same. And you can go outside and buy food, but the police will ask you where you're going and what you're doing and when you're coming back to make sure that you're really only buying groceries and not doing anything else.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot. But if it's what he needs, then it's what he needs.
Yes.
So how are you because you also are an entrepreneur and you also have all your things, like how are you dealing with all this? You're staying home all the time.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. They are saying maybe we get money from the government. They are not sure yet if we get government money or not.
It's for everybody.
If nothing works, I would probably go back to Germany and I can get this, what's called Türtenoraha, this unemployment. I could get this, like the basic low unemployment. But I have still to get back and find a place to go into quarantine. I'm not sure yet where this will lead, but right now they said we don't have to pay the rents. The rents are like deferred. I mean, we have to pay them later, but for now we don't have to pay the rents in LA. And shall we show your elk? Because you have an elk too, and your elk and my elk, I think we said they can be friends. Look, that's a white
Yeah.
elk, guys, a Finnish elk. That's so beautiful. I think yours is more fluffy. I guess it has a winter coat, and mine in LA has more the summer coat here.
Yeah, because he still lives in Finland, so he needs to protect from the cold.
Yeah, and that's a camouflage coloring for the snow.
Oh, yes.
No.
Yes. But yes, now he has some like elk company.
Yes, so our elves can also connect via social media and internet now.
Yeah, that's true. But it's nice that they see him once in a while, because here at home he just deals with humans and mummies.
Oh,
So
yes.
it's not so good.
There's also a penguin.
Oh. Célio from Brazil is one of my Facebook friends, so we never met in person, but we connected on social media over mutual interests. Metal. Célio is a music journalist and musician, and he's going to tell us what's going on in Rio de Janeiro. Hello, Célio. How is the situation in Brazil and Rio de Janeiro?
Well, I'm a bit of concern about the situation here in my city, Rio de Janeiro. I'm concerned about the lack of concern from some people here. Our country president stopped the lockdown for a while, and I'm a bit worried about that. I don't know what's going to happen. You know Brazilian,
Yes.
and they are funny.
My Brazilian friends, they like to be in big groups. They like to go like grocery shopping in really big groups. And so you are not on a lockdown right now, so you can stay home if you want to. It's voluntary.
Well, I don't know, this is not official because our country president wants something and our governor wants another. So I think I'm still safe.
And you stay home now. You stay in your home. You don't go outside.
Yes. I have my guitar, my CDs, my books, so I can occupy my mind.
Mm-hmm. For how long, for how many days have you been at home now?
For now, it's about 1 week.
And are you alone or do you have roommates or family?
No, I'm all alone here. No family. I'm happy for this.
Mm-hmm.
I always loved my solitude.
And so now you play the guitar and write songs?
Yes, I do write something. But at the moment I hurt my fingers, so I cannot play guitar at the moment. But I hope I can better soon.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot play acoustic guitar, I hurt my finger. It's
Oh,
gonna
I
better
hope it
soon.
will heal soon. And what kind of music are you writing right now?
Something about the end of the world.
Oh, really? Oh, no. Was it a joke or is that true?
This world, but a new world is gonna begin.
Oh, good. That's
New
so it's
world.
with hope. So your song is about hope. That's good.
Yes, yeah, a bit about hope. Made a rock opera. It's called Scouts.
Oh,
The
sounds
21.
good.
It's a criticism about the modern world, and it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon physical release and digital release. Okay.
Okay, you can send me a link. I will put the link in the video description. So if people want to hear it, they can check it out because we all have a lot of time now since we're on lockdown.
Yes. Because if I die, you still can see my work.
Yes. No, but I really hope and pray that you're not gonna die.
Yes. And I like your work too. You are very talented. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm a big fan since many years ago.
Oh, thank you so much. And what else are you doing when you're home? What are you doing now during the day when you're home?
I play video games and reading some books and the news because I'm also a journalist, so I like to keep myself informed about what's happening in the world.
And what do you expect? What's going to happen in the future? Do you have an idea what might happen in the future?
I think the world's gonna change. Nothing is gonna be the same anymore. The world won't end. It's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Many people gonna die, but I hope I'm not the one who is dying.
Oh, I hope
I'm
so.
a help. I don't know what can happen, but I think the world the brave new world is gonna start.
Yeah, and I hope we will all like survive and be much more grateful afterwards. That would be good.
Yes, I hope I can survive it to this new world. It's beginning. I have a lot of things to do yet in my life. I'm happy. It's okay. I'm also in quarantine, and I don't mind. But I already did everything I want to do in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I just care about the others. The virus is gonna dominate the world.
Yes.
Life is a mistake.
Oh, I hope not. I really hope not.
I don't know. I'm joking.
Oh yeah, no, I understand. Oh, and we had a discussion about stand-up comedy. So if this is over, are you gonna start your stand-up comedy career?
I'm trying to do, but all the places are closed now. I don't know what what I have to do. Maybe on the internet. Everything's closed now. I have to wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope we will all get through this. Do you have any recommendations or encouragements for the people who are watching?
Well, just stay alive and do everything you have to do, which is right, and pray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Pray. Maybe this is gonna happen. This is gonna help.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm praying. I'm really praying, and I hope it will help.
I think the virtual reality and the 4.0 industrial revolution are gonna be faster now because of this new technological world. Many people are gonna die. This is very sad.
Yeah, I hope we can do the best that not too many die. But yeah, it's true. It's a real concern and threat right now.
The worst thing about it is that not evil people are dying, but many good people are dying too. So this is very sad.
Yeah.
The virus doesn't select. Well, in Brazil, we are losing a lot of people here. The media is telling it's just a flu. It's not just a flu. I know Brazil is a tropical place. It's a tropical country. I think I can be mistaken, but I think Brazil will be the most contaminated country of the planet soon, because our government is a bit worried about the economy instead of lives. Mm-hmm. I know the economy is important, but there is no economy if the people are dead. Only about the economy. We need to care about the people too. Let's try to have a hope, but
yeah.
I don't like to make people sad. Sorry.
No, but it's okay to be honest. This is also a place where you can share your concerns. This is also supposed to be honest and real, and you're allowed to be happy, and you also are allowed to share your concerns and your fears.
But we're gonna survive.
I will pray for you that you will stay safe and that it will get better in Brazil. My friends and I, we pray for everyone that it will get better, like wherever we are, like all around the world.
Yes, I'm gonna pray for you too.
Yes, I think we should pray all together. Our next guest, Myron, is the only one I didn't know before. I posted on Facebook about the Lockumentary and asked who would like to do an interview, and he sent me a very nice response, and we got talking. Myron is a Finnish exchange student in the Netherlands. How is the situation in the Netherlands right now?
It's a bit chaotic for international, I'm a student, I'm studying here. Mm-hmm. And they only give out information in Dutch.
Oh.
And before, the school usually translated everything for us, but the school has been closed now for 2 weeks. So I have my housemate, he translates the Dutch things that comes out. So I know the rules and everything like that now.
Oh, that's good. So what are the rules? Are you also like grounded like all of us?
Okay, kinda. Everything is closed, like cinemas, bars and everything. Some stores have guards outside looking how many goes into the store and how many comes out. Mm-hmm. Not all stores, but the bigger ones. and you have to be 1.5 meters from each other. You're not allowed to be more than 3 people, I think the rule is now. And the parks and everything is closed. One student friend of mine, he went out jogging, and the police saw him, and he jogging in the park, and he got €400 fine.
Oh no.
So yeah, so you're kind of like locked inside.
Oh yeah. And how long have you been in the Netherlands now?
Since the end of August last year.
And before that, it was all nice and all going fine?
Yeah. 2 weeks ago it started. It started slowly, and they just build up more and more and more.
Mm-hmm. Where are you in the Netherlands? If you want to say, close to which city, just which area?
I'm really close to Arnhem, a village called Velp.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like help a bit, but I know what you mean. I know where that is actually. I've been there. It's beautiful.
Okay, yeah, it is.
Being grounded, what are you doing with your time?
Because I'm studying, we have a few lessons online. So I do them and do some assignments that we get. The other things, luckily I live in a place where we have a piano.
Mm-hmm.
So I can play the piano because I play music.
Mm-hmm.
I played since I was 6 years old music. But I also have taken up quill writing.
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, trying to improve my skills in that.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, descending into alcoholism with my housemate.
Oh yeah, that's the Finnish way to solve it, I guess.
And Dutch way.
Oh, Dutch way too. Oh, good. So you're really a good match as housemates.
Yeah.
And where in Finland are you from?
Karis.
Oh yeah, I know where that is. Yes. Finland is my favorite place, and Helsinki is like my favorite place in the world. So what do you know about the situation in Finland right now? And are you worried about your family and friends in Finland?
The government, if they're going to lock it down and actually prevent people to go outside of Uusimaa province.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a big lockdown there, apparently. Other than that, now my family lives outside on the farm side more. So they are kind of isolated.
Yeah, that's good. That's
naturally.
The safest. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to share? Like feelings or thoughts or anything?
That's really that people take this opportunity now and really go through like what they really want to do in life. I think they probably didn't enjoy it in the long run, and I hope they find something that they really like, and after this quarantine they go to school to do what they like.
Now we're gonna talk to a band. James, Mick and T are members of the band Corners of Sanctuary, and they were in the UK on tour when the travel ban became effective. And they are gonna tell us about their experience now. Oh, you look cool, you look badass with the glasses. That's really good.
All right, thank you. You lie well, thank you.
Oh, yes, I try my best. Hey, I'm an actress. That's my job. So okay, you guys all live in Pennsylvania in the US, right?
Yes, correct. Yes. Yes.
But when the corona crisis, the pandemic hit us, you were in the UK. So can you tell us what happened?
There started to be rumblings before we left about, China, obviously, and Italy, I should say Asia, I guess, and then Italy. The night, literally, 10 hours before our flight is when when Trump got on TV and started listing the countries, and we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do, right? And then they said, UK is good. And we're like, yes. Everyone's like texting us and Facebooking us, yay, the gig's on. Yeah, we're all excited. So we get on a plane and we fly over. Really, there was nothing different other than the Philadelphia airport being like really easy to deal with. I mean, there was hardly any people there. We got on. We were delayed a little bit because of a mechanical thing. At least that's what they called it. The really great news is because the flight was delayed, they put all these wrapped sandwiches out. So we're always looking to cut costs when we're on tour. So we took our normal sandwiches and we waited for everyone to get theirs. And then one by one, we'd go up and grab another sandwich. And then Mick would go up and grab a sandwich. Then T would go up and grab a sandwich. And we started shoving them in our bags. So we legitimately for lunch, other than the one place we went for fish and chips, we ate basically airport sandwiches for the entire trip.
We were getting ready to go on stage for the first show, and we were informed, we started getting calls and texts that they were going to put a travel ban on the UK. So we were kind of like, oh man, what's going to happen here? But then I guess
our flight, we still had our flight back.
We still had our flight, and we figured, well, listen, we're just going to keep going. We actually weren't concerned at all about the virus per se. And there wasn't a huge concern over in the UK about the virus. Our biggest concern had become, what if we can't get home? But then we were informed, we got a message that said, if you're already in the UK and you're a US citizen with a valid passport, you won't have a problem getting back in. They may ask to quarantine you for a self-quarantine for 14 days. We're like, okay, well, we'll keep going. We finished the show. We were being interviewed. And actually, within the last 30 seconds
during the interview,
James a message popped up on the chat that had been canceled.
Oh no!
Flight's canceled.
At that stage, we basically trapped in the UK. It took us about
great news
6 hours to find another flight.
The place we were staying at, I'll just put it that way, the windows were broken out, and the rain and the wind where we were supposed to sleep that night was blowing in. Now we stayed in some tough spots. The price was kind of right, but it was free. So,
did you still have sandwiches left at that point? Did you still have some sandwiches left at that point?
We did. We still had sandwiches. We were down to turkey and Swiss, but we still had them. And there was this little heater. I think it's used to, I don't know what it really was used for. So we were basically in the top of this place, and the ceilings were like 20 feet high. There was no heat. The water didn't work. All this is going on. We were happy to kind of have a place, but we just started grabbing the nasty, moldy pillows and putting them over windows. And the club that we played, that was, where was it, Mick? Sir Charles Napier. It's a great club. The fans were great. Everything was fabulous about it. But, that text comes in from American Airlines saying that the flights are canceled. And I was like, oh, our flights are canceled. What are we going to do?
Said our polite thank yous and so on, and start to interview people. And then we went into, basically panic mode. Because
I can imagine that.
At that point, we figured, well, we're stranded, right?
We're screwed, totally.
Yeah, but we started James started calling, and we're trying to get as much people to help us out here as possible. And we figured, well, we'll just keep going until we can't go anymore. And we found out that there was no flights going out. Like, they were canceling. Everything was just starting to drop off. And we got no options. It took us about 26, 27 hours to find a flight. We went to a Airbnb. James, pretty much all night, he was on the phone on and off trying to talk to a live person, talking to...
Forget about it.
So by the morning, James had found a flight. We were actually scheduled later in the tour that week to film a video while we were there. We're going to be near Stonehenge, more in the countryside. And so we were going to do a video for our next single, and we realized that wasn't going to happen.
Guys, we have a lot of technical difficulties, and it really feels a bit like zombie apocalypse right now, at least here, with our interview situation.
I left a message, gave him my number, and I just sat there and stuck my thumb all night in this little sitting room at the place we were staying at, hoping that someone would call back, and I'm literally dozing off, right? And the freaking phone rings, and I'm like, holy shit, this has got to be the am I allowed to say the S word?
Yes, please.
Okay. I was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe it. And she was so cool. She was very cool on the phone. She's like, look, here's the deal. You could still fly out Sunday. We got to change your flight, but you're going to have to go to Dallas and then to Philly, or there's a flight Monday at the same time. And I said, well, if we're U.S. citizens, we could get back. She goes, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. The airline I work for, we're canceling all flights because we're not going to make any money on them. So if I'm you, I'm getting out on Monday. And I was like, wow, what an honest thing to say.
Yes, she saved you, I guess.
But before that, once we knew that he was solidifying the plane flights, we had decided that, hey, you know what, we're going to shoot a video right here, right now. We were in not so hot of a place staying. We were in Burnley, UK, right, T? Burnley?
Burnley.
So the backyard was like a blown out bunker in Beirut or something like that. So,
That sounds like zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
yeah. So
Completely.
we had a couple iPhone 10s with us, so we just started shooting, and in about an hour, we had everybody come through, and we shot footage for the next video, and and then we got done. Right out the door, we were on our way to what would be our last gig.
I'm really glad that you got back and that you even managed to shoot your music video under these conditions.
Oh yeah. It was.
We were determined to get something done, and then the last 3 days were stressful, of course, because we were juggling this. But we managed to have a good time the whole time because it was an experience for us. It was the first time the band was in the UK. We're definitely going to go back once everybody's cleared and give a clean bill of health. We're going to finish what we started. We're looking forward to it. We were going to look at maybe going back in the fourth quarter of this year, but things are still unsure. They're juggling around what's going to happen. So we're looking at maybe sometime in the first quarter of 2021. We're going to go back and maybe we'll expand it and make it a little bigger. We were told that once we got to the airport in the UK that this was the last flight going out till May 6th.
Yeah, we got lucky. It was the last.
We made the right decision. We'd still be there. And then unfortunately, as we found out, later in that week, the UK wound up shutting all the venues down anyway. Everybody's in the same boat. We're all experiencing the same thing. It's, was it bad timing? Yeah, maybe, but it was completely out of our control, and we were fortunate enough to have some things fall into place so we could get back home to our families. You want to be with your family in a time like this because you don't know what's really going to happen. Because in a sense, I mean, within a week, so much has changed, and not that our rights have been taken away, but we've been limited in what we can do, right? And we don't have any control over that.
Yes.
The UK had such a different attitude when we were over there about this whole thing. Now, I don't know what it's like there now. Maybe they just need to catch up to the paranoia the rest of the world has, or whatever you want to call it, or the fear. I'll say fear. Yeah. So, not to judge.
Did you have to go into quarantine after you came back?
Self-imposed. Like they just said, if you don't feel good, go to the CDC or go to your doctor. But that was it. They didn't, because we got back right before
before midnight.
Yeah, the official second travel. They weren't quarantining us because again, we were the only people in that terminal. So but now we're all in self-imposed type of quarantine. So I guess it didn't really.
And that's you're in California and and we're separated by 20 miles or so. Those guys are, and we're on video chat.
Everybody's making the best of it. Like you said earlier, we're all in the same boat. It's better safe to be than sorry. Maybe it's a bigger deal than most people think, or maybe it's not a big deal. But either way, you want to play it safe because you just don't want to be sick. The weather's starting to break out here. So, I mean, we've been told, at least in our county, that we are allowed to walk around our neighborhood. They have a, what's it called, James? It's a stay-in or something like that? Stay-in place?
Stay at home or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, and you can only go out for like medical purposes or food shopping or the post office or the bank or something like that. So I've been doing that every day, like 5 times a day.
You have like 3,000.
Yeah. But you are allowed to go walking around your neighborhood as long as you stay 6 feet apart, all that. And I've seen a lot of people as the weather breaks, they're doing that and stay positive. I've been working out more. I mean, what the hell, because I'm eating more, unfortunately. So I know T's been lifting. He's lifting more.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. So it's tough on everybody for sure.
Everyone's doing their part. I think the big thing with all this, we're able to actually spend more time with our families because you're in the house together, right? And if you're fortunate enough to be able to do that, you take advantage of that and realize that there's not really going to be another opportunity to be able to be together all at once like this. And if you're going to do things, you do them as a family or with your very close friends.
I get your point. That's beautiful. We have to make the best out of it.
The other thing, and again, this not to sound preachy or anything, but like communities need to kind of band together, like do what they can. So my neighborhood had started a community thing, and Matt T and I live relatively close, and this morning we were actually out on emergency food pickup and delivery for older people. So there was a few hours to help bringing them toilet paper and stuff. Because I don't know how it is in California, but for some reason, toilet paper. There's no toilet paper, but there is plenty of milk.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Tons of milk and frozen vegetables, but there's no meat, no toilet paper.
No Campbell soup, no soup.
People forget there's older community citizens that can't get out or for whatever reason. Either they don't have the transportation or they're not in the best of health. That way, you're getting out, you're getting active with the community, and you're doing something good.
That's wonderful, guys. Now we're going to talk to one of my best friends in Finland, Maria-Teresa. She's from Lapland in northern Finland and she lives in Helsinki. And if you watch this channel regularly, you know her. And we used to rock the bathroom together. That's Maria-Teresa. And she just lost her work because she works as a light technician for concerts. And now all the concerts and music festivals have been cancelled. And she's now trying to work in a new job. And she found a really good approach on how to calm your mind. And she's going to share that with us now. Millaista tilanne on Helsingissä nyt?
Tällä hetkellä Helsingissä on tosi hiljasta joka paikassa. Elikkä mä luulen, että monet ihmiset on nyt noudattaneet viranomaisten ohjeita jäädä pysyvästi kotiin. Ja monet ihmiset tekee töitä kotona ja vielä viikko sitten niin monet ihmiset lähti Lappiin ja siellä oli ihmisiä ihan ruuhkaa asti ja sen jälkeen tuli sitten ohjeistus hallitukselta jäädä kotiin ja Helsingin rajat suljettiin ja nyt sitten kaupunki on kiinni ja kaupungista pääsee ulos ainoastaan sitten työasioissa tai muun tärkeän painavan syyn takia.
Joo. Ja se oli töissä Porvoossa, kun rajat menivät kiinni, eikö niin?
Joo, kyllä vain.
Ja oliko se vaikea sulle päästä kotiin Helsingin?
Joo, eli tosiaan aluksi luultiin, että tarvitsen myöskin itse todistuksen, että pääsen sieltä takaisin, mutta sitten selvitettiin, että en tarvinnut sitten sitä paluutodistusta työnantajalta ja tosiaan sain kyydin sieltä Porvoosta sitten työnantajalla tuonne Vantaalle Aviapolikselle ja sieltä sitten palasin junalla takaisin tänne Helsinkiin.
Joo, hyvä, että sä pääset vielä kotiin. Mä olen tosi iloinen, että sä pääset vielä kotiin.
Joo, kyllä.
Ja me voimme nähdä jotain siellä. Sä löysit jotain erityinen, mikä auttaa sulle, että saada mielen rauha. Haluatko jakaa tämä?
Aluksi oli tosiaan iso shokki ja paniikki, kun tuli tämä tieto tästä koronasta. Ja mä olen sitten yrittänyt itse etsiä sellaisia keinoja, jotka tuntuu itsestä hyvältä ja jotka rauhoittaa mieltä. Ja mulla on aina tapana sytyttää sitten takkaan tuli. Mä oon tosiaan täällä ulkona ja oon sitten sytyttänyt tänne sitten tuleen, joka on tällä hetkellä pieni, mutta on istunut tässä sitten ja sillä sitten saa rauhoitettua mielen ja sitten ehkä pystyy ajattelemaan asioita selkeästi, että mitä kannattaa tehdä sitten nyt lähiaikoina, jotta niin tästä kotona olemisesta ja tästä eristyksestä olemisesta reissun jälkeen ja siitä, että kaupunki suljettiin, niin miten tästä selvitään ja siitä, että nähdään tosi vähän ihmisiä ja ollaan tosi paljon itsekseen täällä. Niin se rauhoittaa mieltä ja istun tosiaan täällä tulen ääressä.
Se on tosi kaunis. Ja se on myös näin, että sä olet valoteknikko konserteille. Ja voisitko sanoa jotain, mikä tapahtui tässä alueessa nyt?
Joo, tosiaan. Eli työskentelen tällä hetkellä konserteissa valorakentajana ja tapahtumarakentajana. Ja tällä hetkellä meillä ei ole töitä ollenkaan, eli kaikki konsertit on peruttu ainakin tuonne toukokuun loppuun asti. Ja tosiaan nyt on sitten vähän epävarmuus, että jatkuuko konsertit sitten kesällä vai onko tässä taukoa, että sen mukaan sitten pitää tehdä ratkaisuja ja näin poispäin.
Toivottavasti. Ja sä sanoit myös, että sä olet vähän huolissani, mikä ihmiset tekevät, joilla on niin kuin mielen ongelmia tai mielensairauksia.
Joo, no siis yleisesti ehkä on huolissaan, että miten tämä tilanne vaikuttaa kaikkiin ihmisiin, että esimerkiksi miten jos ihmisillä on vaikka mielenterveysongelmia tai kotiväkivaltaa, että miten se tulee sitten vaikuttamaan ihmisiin, että jäävät sitten yksikseen, esimerkiksi niin kuin yksin elävät ja vanhukset ja erityisryhmät ja näin poispäin, että niin kuin miten kaikki pärjää tällä hetkellä, että se huolestuttaa tässä tilanteessa.
Joo, siis se on varmasti tärkeää, että tukea toisiaan juuri nyt.
Joo, eli tässä tilanteessa olisi parasta, että kaikki muistaisi huolehtia niistä läheisistä ja soittaa perheenjäsenille mahdollisimman usein ja kaikille ystäville ja läheisille ja pitää huolta toisistaan sitten.
Ja juuri mikä me teemme melkein joka päivä.
Nimenomaan, kyllä.
Our next guest, Neil, is a movie director in LA, a good friend and a fellow metalhead. And we met on the set of a horror comedy film in which I played the unicorn. And he directed it. And I'm impressed by his positive approach to the lockdown situation. Hear it for yourself. How is your situation? How are you dealing with the lockdown and the current situation in LA?
I'm actually happy. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm having a ball. So
really?
I'm getting all my stuff done. I'm actually reading this book to figure women out. Again, right here at the Men from Mars, Women from Venus, the deluxe edition. So yeah, I'm about halfway through it. So I'm reading a book, and I'm working on 2 movies that I'm putting together right now. So it's kind of these 2 films have been on my head. So I've been building the worlds for them over the last weeks we've been on lockdown, which is great because by the time this is all done, I'll have 2 movie projects ready to go and possibly a 3rd. And practicing guitar again. So I'm having a ball. So but, people that are artists will we'll always find something to do. We're never bored. It's the ones who are not are the ones you'd be worried about. Yeah, that have been going every once in a while I go on late night walks, then I get up early in the morning and go roller skating around my neighborhood.
Really?
I'm staying around the area pretty much. So it's not bad. I'm having a good time. So I just wish I could have seen my mom and my sister before all this stuff went down. But hopefully I'll get to see them after everything is done. How's everything been going on your end? Good?
I'm also trying now. I mean, acting work is cancelled for the most part. I'm just trying to do a lot of YouTube stuff and put out content that will encourage people.
Oh, that's good. That's a good thing to do too. And remember to have them carry this too. A spray bottle with 100% rubbing alcohol. It's the best thing to spray your clothes off with and everything, and possibly get high with if you're home. If you in fact choose to do that. Yeah. Why go for vodka when I can go with 100% rubbing alcohol? And no, I'm not endorsing that.
No, but I do that too. I just made a video actually about my sanitation routine. Like first the hands, then the doorknobs from inside out, and cell phone and wallet and everything. And I also feel like, I don't drink alcohol. I feel sometimes when I clean myself with alcohol and stuff that I also feel like a little, a little tipsy afterwards.
Yeah, it smells, because I've been sober for 13 years, so when I keep spraying, usually what I do is when I come back from skating, I take all my clothes off with the rubbing alcohol, and I smell it, I'm like, oh my god, that's what my liver must smell like. Well, back when I used to party all the time. But yeah, it's really strong, and it kind of sits around for a while, but it's really sanitizing too. We usually use the 100% rubbing alcohol we use for getting makeup off, but we're doing prosthetic makeup on for movies. It comes off a lot easier. If you try using 70% alcohol, it's not going to come off as easily. So the makeup artists usually use this stuff to kind of get all the heavy makeup off of you. So that's where I have it too. The smell is really strong. So you have to kind of keep everything by the door, and it's a little bit overpowering at times. But it gets the job done. Cleanliness is next to godliness in this situation. So.
Oh yes, I guess so. Yes. I'm happy that you're doing so well and that you're making the best out of the lockdown.
Sorry, you kind of sounded like R2-D2. You were all bouncing around. There was the the Wi-Fi connection was kind of slow on my end. It's probably from my end. You said something? I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I just said I am happy to see that you are making the best out of the lockdown and that you're doing so much right now.
I've been really fun playing this. This is like a mini, my friend Iman gave me this for my birthday last year. Oh yeah, you were there.
Yes.
She gets a little Pac-Man video game thing, which actually works. So like every once in a while I stop and play and see if I can beat the machine, but like, you know, I have like little skinny fingers that usually kind of works with it. But yes, it's been kind of fun to be playing with while I'm getting all my stuff done over here. So yeah, it's just keeping busy. So like I'm getting to do stuff that I don't usually have time to do. So I mean like knocking out some projects that are like, you know, things that I really want to do and play guitar again after all these years. It's been nice to get up and start keep practicing and stuff. And you know, I've been actually also calling friends little by little and catching up with everybody on the phone. So each call usually goes for about an hour, so I have to do a little bit, you know, every day, or I'll, you know, never get anything done.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, movie stuff's been going great though, so I'm really happy about it. So just like I said, these three things are really passion projects that I really wanted to do. Now that I'm in a position to do them, I wanted to, you know, sort of crank them and get them all ready to go.
Wonderful. That's really great. I'm also writing a prequel and a sequel to my short film right now.
Oh, cool. Have you filmed it yet, or are you going to be filming it?
The first part was filmed in August, but the second part was the one where I wanted to ask you a second, maybe the third too, if you like the script. I will send it to you when I have it ready.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to take a look at it.
Yeah, wonderful.
So that's awesome. And yeah, well, I'm glad you're actually doing something positive to keep everybody have like because I know it must be hard for some people too. Like if they're not used to being alone, and if they're trapped inside, it gets kind of hard too. So I don't know, because like for right now we're allowed to go on walks outside, you know, for kind of like localized for right now. But like I'm hoping it won't go to a full on lockdown. We all have to stay home all the time. But like if you do go outside, like just be careful and keep your distance from people, and make sure you're always like washing your hands and not touching your face and everything too. So I know for me it's really hard because I'm always, you know, touching my face.
I know, that's so hard.
Reaction.
I go to buy groceries and I wear a mask, and then I go right into the bathtub afterwards. So right, like cleaning myself completely afterwards.
Well, that's the smart thing to do. Is kind of like when you go outside and you come back in, you just, you know, take your clothes off, keep them by the door, and spray them with rubbing alcohol, or you just take them and throw them in the washing machine. Because they say, from what I was told, you shouldn't like take your clothes and like walk around. Whenever you come back whenever you come inside from outside, don't like go sitting around your furniture and everything too. You're spreading everything. And yeah, you just throw your clothes in the washing machine or leave them at the front door and spray them with rubbing alcohol, and then like just go take a shower. You'll be fine. And also drink a lot of hot liquids too. Like I have a mug of salt water. It's freaking disgusting. And I keep it by the microwave. So every morning I warm it up for about 35 seconds. And I just like gargle with it, and then I do it again before I go to sleep. And just drink a lot of hot liquids. Like if you drink cold water, like or cold lemon water, or you just like make sure you microwave it for a little while so it's a little bit kind of warm. Because anything warm in your throat kind of kills everything.
Yeah, I also do that. I gargle with salt water every time I come home, just to clean it. And yeah, no, that's great. And lemon water is so great. I made it with hot water. Like I put half a lemon in there and then hot water and some honey, and that's so good.
Yeah, I'm going to add the honey to it. That's a good idea. I'll try that now too.
Oh yeah, you can also add ginger. If you add honey and ginger, that's perfect.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
So now I've got to find 2 strippers and honey and ginger and throw them into my... I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll give that a try, actually. You knew that was coming, so at some point in time.
No, this is a comedy channel. That's perfectly fine. It's a comedy channel. Oh, and I want to do something that's called Headbanging Against Fear. I make a hashtag Headbanging Against Fear, and I'm gonna headbang now at the end of every video, and everybody can dance. And if they don't like metal, they can turn on their own music, but we can all headbang together at the end of every video.
Exactly. It's always fun. It's always fun to headbang. I'm just like, yeah, exactly. I'm just not a hip hop guy. I can't picture like doing hip hop and doing this, and it comes out totally. No. Just keep busy, everybody. Like, you know, like I don't know about you, but my sleep schedule's all messed up now too. I've been going to bed at like 8 o'clock in the morning and getting up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But it feels kind of good. I feel fully rested. Like I wake up and the sheets are on the floor. That usually means I slept really, really well. So yeah. So I'm like, you know, not complaining. I mean, I don't like having to wake up to alarms all the time too. So I'm liking the sleep schedule I'm on right now too. It's actually kind of fun.
And when else can you do that? Right now is the time to do that, you know, to make your own schedule. I always go to sleep at 4. I did an interview at 4 in the night with one of my friends in Spain, and it felt so good. Just like, hey, no, nobody will call early in the morning, say you have to get ready for an audition. If I do auditions, I do self-tapes, and I just say like, hey, I can edit the whole night and talk to my friends in a different time zone, and then I just sleep until also mostly like 12 or something.
True, it's awesome. I love it too. Like I love the schedule. I feel like because we're all we're all like vampires anyway, so it feels natural for me to kind of get up around 2 in the afternoon, and then I work out and everything too. Then I'm like on my laptop working on stuff and cracking up my pens and doing designs of everything. So it's so much more fun that way too, because the later in the day the phone stops ringing, which is great. Then you can all night not be disturbed and get to work on your own stuff all night long. So it's kind of nice. So I'm enjoying it. So it's just about just being just staying creative, just working on your own stuff. So if any of you have your own projects to do, now's the time to start cranky on stuff too, because little by little, Hulu and Amazon and Netflix, everybody's watching all that stuff too. They're going to more than likely want to have new content by the time this whole thing's over. So you can hopefully get your projects picked up by, getting stuff done and having things ready to go now.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Neil. And that's also a lot of inspiration for the people who watch, I think. Just be productive and do something good with your time.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's fun too when you're doing your own stuff. It's like, how can you not have fun doing your own things and creating your own worlds and everything too? It's always a lot of fun. And even picking up an instrument, if that's something you always want to do, now's a good time to do that. Just trying something new. I think to challenge yourself is always a good thing too while we have the time off. Good luck everybody with everything, and we have a couple more weeks, but hopefully it won't stretch out too much long. Just for all of us to be safe for right now.
Now we're going to talk to my friend Magdalena from Sweden. Magdalena is the manager and producer of Stockholm Comedy Club, and her husband Janne is a good friend and fellow comedian. We met in 2016 when we did a project together for Stockholm Comedy Club. Since the comedy clubs are closed now, Magdalena focuses on business coaching. And guys, this is not a promotional video and this is not sponsored, but this is her work and we're going to talk about it. And this is also her way of coping with it business-wise. And I think it's interesting for you guys also to have a business person on here. And I want to leave the link to Magdalena's website in the description in case there are some small business owners among you who would like to check out her work.
You are on lockdown, right?
Yes, we're on lockdown, but we can theoretically still go to the supermarket and buy food and go to the pharmacy, but they just sent a message 2 days ago that the beaches are locked, and because people went to the beach, and now we cannot even go hike in the park anymore. The trails were locked too. But it's okay. I still have food, so I'm okay. It's just crazy in LA, but I'm okay. And how are you? And where in Sweden? Are you in Trelleborg or are you in Stockholm?
I'm in Trelleborg. I just moved 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It's just me and the dog who moved. Janne is still up. He's up north. He's working with his radio station. Did you make an appointment as well?
Not yet. I thought you were still in the same location and we do it all together. I will try to get him too. We have to say that Magdalena's husband, Janne, is an amazing stand-up comedian. And we did a lot of comedy projects, also the three of us together.
Yeah.
How is the situation in Trelleborg? Did I pronounce it correctly? Now I pronounced it Finnish. But...
You're good. You're good. We're pretty much living as normal here. Believe it or not, everything is quite open. The funny thing is the grocery stores are open for elderly people an hour before normal opening hours, or at least our local stores. And then, from the normal opening hours, healthy grown-ups can go and buy food. But the elderly go 1 hour before, so they're not exposing themselves to risks. And I think it's cool.
Wonderful idea, yes.
I see people living like normal. Maybe we are a little bit nonchalant, maybe a little bit, but I'm not exposing myself to very much anyway. So I'm taking the dog for a walk just as normal. I say hi to my neighbors, normal stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you're not that scared, or are you scared or worried?
Not at all. I'm actually at the gym a few times a week. The gym is open. I'm not scared at all. Maybe I should be more scared and more cautious, but I'm not.
I don't know, because keeping up a positive mindset is also important. It's really hard to say where the right balance is between being worried and not panic. And
I'm healthy. I don't have any diseases that are affected by the corona. I'm all good. So no, I'm not scared. How are you? Are you nervous?
I'm more nervous about the economy right now because all my work got shut down. I mean, you know that probably your comedy club, it's all also like down and closed. And that worries me a little bit more like about myself. And of course, all the people who lost their work right now and don't have an income right now. So I hope the governments will figure something out to use our tax money to help us.
Yeah, I get it. I get that.
And what are you doing when you're home? You're working mostly from home right now.
I'm working from home. I have an agency for creative business thinking. So my work is booming because I do digital courses on how to start a business, how to grow a business, and how to scale a business. Usually when I launch a course, I have like this cart window open. So I open the course and then I close the course so you can only buy within like 10 days. At the moment, all of my courses are totally open. So you can sign up to anything at any time. So people are like coming in, buying my courses. And now when they have free time, or maybe I try to make people like use this time for something good, for thinking like, oh, now is the time for me to pursue my passion of doing whatever and start a business and, you know, use this time to plan and make the strategy and set the foundation. That's what my courses are all about. And also for those business owners who are like established, how to take the business to the next level. And I've added some crisis management to that. So I have that also in the course. So for me, I try to help out and try to motivate people to like stay positive and stay creative and not like sit down and die.
Yes.
But how can I, and it's actually, it's not very kosher, but how can I monetize from this? How can I get through this without my business shutting down?
A lot of business owners need to know that right now and will think about that a lot. Yes.
People are ashamed of thinking like, oh, how can I benefit is the completely wrong word, but how can I make the best of it?
Yes,
right?
And survive.
Being a little bit diplomatic, but how can you change your business so that you are meeting new needs and so that you are like helping people with whatever they're struggling right now? How can you do that? So that is pretty much what I'm talking about all the time.
That's great. I think we should put a link to your website somewhere in the description of this video if here are business owners watching and they want to take a class and take a look at it.
And they are also available in English. That is good too.
Oh yeah, that's important because we have viewers, I think, from all around the world right now. Yeah, is there anything else like recommendations for people how they can get through this? Do you want to share anything else?
I have like this golden balance. I mean, do a little bit of both. If you are behind on Netflix, by all means, watch some series, enjoy. But please do not think of this as an extra vacation because this will pass. And whoever comes out on the other side with like good ideas and a time well spent, that person wins. Meet up with friends, virtually meet up with friends and do some nice, cool things. Watch your Netflix, relax, but not too much. So like this beautiful balance between being productive and being, having a vacation.
Our next guest is one of my really, really long friends. We actually met 20 years ago when my school decided to do a field trip to the World Exposition, Expo 2000 in Hanover, Germany. Daniel lives on the Seychelles, but he also has lived a long time in Germany, so he can tell us about the Seychelles and Germany. He is a computer scientist and a robotics scientist, and right now he works in the perfume company of his mom. And they are doing something truly amazing, and he's gonna tell us about it now. I just realized that we met at the World Exposition Expo 2000, so happy 20th friendship anniversary.
Happy 20th friendship anniversary, 20 years. Oh my God. Okay, so when I came back, I started working here with my mom. We have our own company here, and we usually make perfume. Of course, now it's a slightly different situation. We have the coronavirus, and in Seychelles here, we're lucky so far. We only have 8 cases, 8 confirmed cases. But still, half the population is worried and are trying to isolate, and the other half is very relaxed and is usually partying on the beach.
Oh, and which half do you belong to?
Oh, I'm more the slightly worried kind. I'm still relaxed. I'm not panic buying. I'm not locking myself in my room so far. What we have done is that we were thinking, okay, Seychelles is a tourism-based economy. Of course, now there are no tourists here. And our business is also focused on tourists buying our perfume. So we were thinking about what else could we do. We have a lot of alcohol lying around, which we usually use to make the perfume. So I once made this joke to my mum about 2 weeks ago, saying if things get worse, we probably might as well just use our alcohol to make hand sanitizer. 1 week later, we started doing that.
Wonderful. That's so wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I just had a look online at the WHO website, and I found the recommended hand rub formula, the sanitizing hand rub formula. It's not complicated. If you have alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, glycerin to moisturize the skin, and water, you can make your own hand sanitizer. The important thing is you can't just use any alcohol. You cannot use vodka. You have to use alcohol which is above 70% proof. So we're using 96% proof alcohol. And of that, it makes up 83% of the mixture. So it's strong enough to use.
That's wonderful. I was just thinking probably your hand sanitizer will be the best smelling hand sanitizer ever.
Well, actually, we don't put in any perfume because some people are allergic to that. Yeah, we just want to make sure that we sell it at a very low price. We're not really making a big profit out of it, but we want to help the people here. It's really skyrocketing, actually, because we have a very high demand. There's no other hand sanitizer left in the country.
Oh.
So the first week, last week, was total chaos. We had so many people here, we couldn't keep up with demand. We ended up working late to the night, mixing hand sanitizer, filling the spray bottles, and sticking on the labels. So I look a bit tired, yeah.
That's totally okay. No, you're doing something amazing. That's really great what you're doing.
It's morally rewarding, and we have received quite a bit of praise. It's put us in the spotlight as well. We had an article in the newspaper about it. We were on the TV here. It's morally very rewarding, but it's also a lot of work.
The thing is, for everyone, Daniel lived in Germany for a very long time, and that's also where we met.
Yeah.
And so you also know from friends what's going on in Germany.
Yeah, it's quite crazy. It's quite scary. Especially the region where I used to live in. It has been quite hard hit. It's near Düsseldorf, and it all started when they had a few cases in Heinsberg. And there was carnival season, and all the people were on the carnival, so the virus spread really quickly.
Mm.
And so like a small city, small town, Heinsberg was suddenly the second worst hit next to the big cities like Hamburg or Berlin. So it's really all about population density and then how quickly people isolate themselves. And so the more people there are, the more cases and casualties there will be. So the best thing would be if to quickly isolate yourself. Don't panic. Isolating doesn't mean you have to stay indoors the whole time. You can go outside, you can go walk in the forest or in the park if there's not too many people around. Don't panic buy. Don't forget your peers and leave enough for them. Leave enough toilet paper on the shelves.
Yes, that's what we don't have here right now. Yes, and in Germany
That's crazy.
neither, yeah.
The other day there was a photo of a tourist leaving Seychelles, one of the last tourists leaving Seychelles, and he was carrying a whole package of toilet paper as hand luggage. So
Probably clever.
We hope we still have enough. Yeah, it's very clever. It's crazy. I mean, what do you need all the toilet paper for?
Yeah, I think that comes from Australia. There was a news article very early on about Australia being totally out of toilet paper, and then everybody, I feel, started panic buying.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you see everybody else panic buying, you yourself will start panic buying. The problem is you think, oh, there won't be any toilet paper left. Maybe I should buy some.
Yeah.
Here in Seychelles, we're quite used to buying a lot because people always buy a lot on payday. So at the end of the month, the shops are always full. So I never buy things. I never go grocery shopping near payday because the queues are long. They pile things into the shopping cart. So panic, it's not really panic buying, but it looks like panic buying. Stay safe, everyone. Take care. Don't panic. Just do sensible stuff.
Our last interview is with one of my 27 cousins, and I'm so happy to have her here. We're gonna talk to my cousin Sabine from Canada. She is a radio show host, an undergrad student, and a musician, and she's gonna tell us what's going on in British Columbia. You need to know whenever I get together with my cousins, we talk really long, we talk really deep, and we get really philosophical. Our whole call lasted for about 2 hours, and I shortened it massively. And now you get my cousin Sabine talking about the situation in Victoria, British Columbia.
Oh my God, how are you doing out there?
It's crazy. We have basically, in LA, I learned that fast when I moved to Hollywood, the police never comes here. So Pablo Escobar would have a nice, easy time here in LA, because the police never comes when you call them, and I'm a bit worried about that sometimes. But
wow, yeah, that is concerning. Are you in an okay neighborhood?
Hollywood, so kind of in between.
Right, yeah.
I guess the answer is no, but it's between the good and the bad part. You know, I live on the border of the good and the bad part, so let's see. Look, guys, we both have green cups. Mint green cups here. Cheers.
Thank you.
Is this from your radio show, Fiji Mermaid?
Well, I wish I should actually try and make cups like these, but I had a pardon my lipstick mark on this side. But
oh, look. Me too, here. Yeah, so how is the situation in British Columbia?
In BC, we're actually optimistic right now. How did Bonnie Henry put it? Dr. Bonnie Henry, our health minister, said we shouldn't be too optimistic, but she wants to be a little bit, because we seem to be flattening our curve a bit. I do believe the amount of cases that we currently have in BC hasn't necessarily continued within individuals as much as it's been frontline healthcare workers, which is terrible.
Oh, yes.
But at the same time, that has a lot to do with the fact that there globally, as we know, there's a lack of a lot of protective equipment, such as N95 masks and gloves and different things like this. And I do believe in Ontario, they had a restriction on the amount of masks. They get one mask. Every healthcare worker gets one mask every day. That's it. They can't have any more than that. And I do believe there's some sort of expected regular replacement that's needed for the masks. Regardless, at this point, today, as of the 29th, I'll give you some stats. For BC, we have 894 total cases that have been confirmed of COVID-19, and we have 17 deaths. Now, primarily, a lot of the deaths that have taken place in BC have been centralized within Vancouver and the area, the regions around Vancouver, and focusing on a care home called the Lynn Valley Care Home. So there's a number of senior citizens that were exposed to care workers or healthcare workers that were staff that, in fact, were carrying COVID-19. And this is a problem, and it since is being addressed, but that's where the primary amount of our deaths are. Now, on Vancouver Island, where I'm located, because I'm located in Victoria, our capital, there's currently 60 confirmed cases on the island. The one interesting thing I'll add in regards to BC, unlike other provinces in Canada, is that our public health minister and our public health organization chooses not to share the locations or the general regions of where a case is discovered. And there's been a lot of issue with this, especially within my community that I've been communicating with by social distance and of course through social media, because people want to know where exactly these things are happening in case they have been exposed by being in a store in the area. However, public health deems it as inappropriate because we should be assuming that every single person could be a vector and a carrier of it, because I do believe it was as of March 19th, it was confirmed that cases of COVID-19 in BC were no longer ones sourced to just travelers, but they were sourced to being in the community. So finally, we were beginning to see people getting ill and coming down with COVID-19 by community transmission. And shortly after this is when social isolation became like the buzzword throughout Canada and in BC, of course. And that's when we had a lot of bizarre resistance. But anyway, BC, we seem to be doing okay. But what has really been a problem has been people actually maintaining the social distancing rules. For example, as you know, because you're along the coast in the West Coast, we have really nice weather. Like there's no...
Yes, it's bad timing. Yeah.
Right? There's no avoiding it. And so because of that, a lot of people made the mistake when the self-isolation requests were put in place. I do believe my timeline's a bit messed because I've been in a paper writing vortex, but I do believe the week before last, and that Friday, everybody started going out and having parties and hanging out at the park and at the beach, and there was no social distancing being followed. And shortly after that, our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, went and made his stern warning, which was, enough is enough. Everyone stay in the house, which was funny, but it was required because the social distancing, if it's not followed, forget it.
The problem is you will see the consequences of that like in another week because the incubation time is not over yet and it's not even sure if there was damage done and how much.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the biggest issue. There has been a major conglomerate of people that haven't believed the severity of the situation. So they've thought, oh, this is just like the flu, or this isn't that serious. We don't have to worry about it. But in reality, it is really serious. This is lethal. And you don't have to just be a senior citizen to get it and die. You should be considerate of the fact that if you're a young person and you're a vector of the virus, you could carry it out and actually kill a senior citizen because you wouldn't know. So it's just, I've been saying with this, you have to learn to be considerate. The whole thing is understanding your impact on society as a whole, and your society can be even shrinking just to your small community, and being able to be considerate and respectful of others is so important. And I guess that's something that's hard for us. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think we're like social animals. We want to have contact to others, and then it's so hard, you know, this hard cut. But of course it's needed. I'm also staying home as much as I can. We are on lockdown since March 19th. And I went out once since then, like on day 6, just to get some groceries, get food. And then I went home and, you know, sanitized everything, my food, my keys, everything. And then I went right into the bathtub and cleaned myself.
No, that's smart. That's exactly what you have to be doing. And I saw there was this wonderful video of this doctor from Michigan. Maybe you saw it. He went totally viral, and he shows his sanitary method of bringing groceries into the house. And he shows how he wipes everything down. I'm sure you saw it. Yes. I feel silly that I don't remember his name, but he was great. And I think that the more people can follow those kinds of principles, the better, as well as just as what you were doing, which was only going out for the absolute necessary means, not just for frivolous purposes. That's the only way to actually protect yourself and others in this whole bizarre situation.
Yeah, and I really feel I would probably myself not get that sick because my immune system is very strong, I feel. Yeah. But I couldn't live with that, and I know that I would have infected someone else.
It's true. And some of the people that have had incredible immune systems, from what I've understood, they've expected that they would manage it fine, but they haven't. It depends on the person. There was an interesting thing going around recently that my mom was reading about, which was blood types being a potential impact on how severe the virus is, which is interesting. And I do believe there is something going around. The A type is the one that has the most trouble. Other blood types, such as O, don't have as much of an issue.
Are you O? Are you O too? We're both O, right?
I'm both O, yeah.
Yes, because we're family. I think our whole family is probably O.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Or it comes from your dad, actually. Your blood type.
Yeah, this is from our father's side. Yes.
Yeah. So I know Reiner had type O negative. Oh, my grandmother, she had type O negative too. So,
are you negative? Do you have O negative, like the alien blood?
I do.
Oh, that's even cooler. I have the plus. I'm O positive. So.
Oh, you're O positive.
O negative is much cooler, but yeah, I guess we're both hopefully. I hope that is true, and we both are kind of protected by our blood type.
It would be really nice. I don't know. There's just so many things to cover. We could talk about money and finances.
Yes, and I would love to talk about your radio show. What's going on with your radio show right now?
Right. Okay, so. Over at CFEV, I'm also the chair at CFEV, the board chair for our campus and community radio, CFEV 101.9 FM. And there was a bit of a crisis that ensued because when the COVID announcement took place, at least specifically for UVic, which was on the 13th of March, University of Victoria went completely online. And it was announced later that evening at about 6 p.m. that all courses would no longer be offered in person. They would be completely online. And then from there, more and more things eventually changed. However, on the 13th of March, that was the beginning of our fund drive at CFUV. And our funding drive is integral for something like a campus community radio station because we are totally listener funded or propelled by having donations. essentially, among other things, and student levies. But it's a very important part. And so the fund drive kind of got really sidetracked and monkeyed around with because COVID-19. By the end of the second week, by about the 20th, all staff were working remotely at CFEV, and all volunteers that are programmers, completely remote programming. We still have to maintain our the expectation of the CRTC, which is to still have live programming in some capacity, i.e. regular updates of programming, and to offer a lot of health advisories in regards to this pandemic, but we cannot go off air. So we still are offering programs. They may not be live in the sense of being live, but they might be made the day before or maybe a week in advance. That was a hard change for everybody, and it was really alarming and stressful. From a creator's perspective of making a radio program in studio versus in my home, it has been uncomfortable. I'm lucky because I have a recording setup, and I have a really awesome mixer, and I have my mics and my computer, that it all works great. But for some people that are a little bit more elderly, that don't have the same setup, or other people that just don't have recording gear because they're not into making their own music, it's been really hard on them. It's been hard on them to make their radio programs. They've had to call in on the phone, and people have remotely recorded it and then put it together for them. But I can say the resilience has been really cool to see. Everyone's worked together really nicely and come together to try and help each other out in this crisis, right? People work together a lot, as much as they possibly can, and they're showing a lot of sincerity and empathy and support for a crisis that seems really bleak right now. But, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad that your show is still on the air, because I think it will also give people hope, and it's something consistent that they can turn to if they want to.
You've got a very good point. And that's, I do believe, a part of the reason that it's required by certain radio stations when licensed by the CRTC that in a crisis like this, there has to be some kind of programming just to give people hope, as well as information on what's going on, even if it's a day behind. They need to have something. It's our duty in a sense. And it's interesting because it's almost like a warlike duty, right? There's this expectation that you are going to be a support to your community because you are a source of media, which a lot of people can access.
Yeah, and I think it really helps people to feel less alone. That's why I'm also trying to make as many videos right now as possible and get people together so that we can kind of socialize through the internet.
Yeah. You know, I think the socializing through the internet and finding alternative means of interacting is kind of neat, because humans are by nature very inventive and innovative if given the opportunity, or I suppose if forced to do so, because we're all creatures of habit and we all fall victim to complacency. But when we're forced to suddenly come up with an alternative means of doing something because we really want that thing, hey, some really cool ideas that can happen, right?
Yes.
I suppose that's why there's always been innovation during wars. People have to suddenly think fast in a crisis situation and come up with something new. So, I don't know, maybe some of the boomers out there will say, this generation just needed a good war. Well, I guess we're getting that good war.
My grandma already said, oh my God, this is like World War II. And we said, no, it's not exactly like that, because your grandsons haven't been sent to war. So it's kind of better than that, because now we have to work all together. I think it's a really kind of an experience like a war, but I think it's so much better because it's not against each other. We have to work together now.
I completely agree, because in a war setting, you have different countries and peoples pitting against each other and then picking sides and fighting, right? Where this is, if we do play it right, there's a possibility that everybody could potentially work together and fight this invisible force, which sounds mystical in a sense, but is actually true. It is kind of hopeful. I guess one thing to say, your sons and daughters could be sent to war if they were healthcare workers. Then they're on the front lines for sure.
Oh, you're right, yes.
Then there would be people that are drafted into the war if they happen to be in that profession. But yeah, it's a wild time, and there is, I think, the possibility for a really positive view of things to potentially develop.
Yeah, I think we might hopefully all be much more grateful after that for everything we took for granted before.
Yeah, I would agree. I would 100% agree.
You said when we were off camera, you said something about you can imagine that our life would change in a certain way.
When you consider the situation we're in, where people will be infected and they can be a vector and nobody knows if they are in fact a carrier, they can infect others. Okay, that's fine. But after getting sick, and say you're a lucky person that recovers, which in BC we actually have 396 cases that have successfully recovered. some of these cases coming out in the Lancet and the research coming out in medical journals like the Lancet have been finding that people that have recovered from the COVID-19 still end up carrying the virus in their body and even in their spit and in their snot for almost 28 days after the fact. So when we look at that, our potential carriers that have recovered and maybe are returning to work because they have to or because they think they can, and they reinfect people, or by doing so they have to suddenly take a whole new set of precautions, the transition from going in quarantine right now where we're at to going back to work in the exact same fashion as we were before the quarantine isn't going to happen like that. It's not going to be immediate. It's going to be a very slow transition that's going to require a lot of financial support, unfortunately. I see this transition being slow. I see it requiring money, and I also see it transitioning into a new normal, as people say. We're going to have to take different kinds of precautions when engaging with people, even if we know them, which is really horrible to think. But I think that we're not going to be able to take risks like not washing our hands regularly, which is bizarre to think. But also the idea of being in close proximity in a bar and letting your cups be too close to one another. There's going to be changes in the way we socialize. The biggest one, I'm a fan of Bill Maher, which I envy you that you're in the same city and you might bump into the guy, but besides, he blows off to other places.
Now I can only greet him from 6 feet away, if I would. So.
And you should only wave. But one thing I remember he was mentioning is how the handshaking has to stop. When he did that, when he was saying that on his show, before that, shortly after this really began to pick up momentum, especially in America, he had that conversation, okay, no handshaking, when he had the awesome doctor on. And that kind of social interaction is going to impact the way we understand people as a whole. If we think about the whole act of shaking someone's hand, we're extending our hand in trust. We don't really know how they're going to perceive or how they're going to perceive our extension of trust or belief in them. Hell, they might not even be a person that wants to engage with us on a friendly level. But it is a overture that is very symbolic. And with that being removed, I don't know what kind of understanding of people will have. Obviously, there's other ways of doing it. But I mean, things like this, I think will affect our psychology, and I think it will affect our future generations potentially. And it's neat. I'm not terrified of it. I think change is interesting. But with that kind of transition and then a transition into a whole new way of doing things, money's going to be required and we're going to be different in the end.
Yes, totally. And I was also thinking, now that we are like sanitizing our hands so much, you become aware how much things you are touching, also touchpad in the supermarket. I try to use my keys now, and we are now much more aware of how many things we've been touching for all our lives unconsciously, and then touching our faces and didn't even think about it at all.
Yeah, it's so true. And, I think that some people have shared some really funny videos on Instagram about their perceptions of dating and relationships during the quarantine. The way people will interact romantically will have to change in the future. We already have to be concerned about a lot of different STIs that are around in society that people might not be being clear about. Now we have to be concerned about other things, and just our interaction is going to be different. I'm not sure if it's going to make us more cold or if it's going to make us just more aware, but it will be different.
I hope you enjoyed the Lockumentary. I feel so blessed and grateful that I have so many amazing people in my life. And you just met some of them. And I really hope that us sharing our experiences with you will help you to feel less alone. We are all in this together and we will get through this. And it's important that we support each other and that we are there for each other, even if it's only through social media. And now I'm gonna give all of you watching and all of the amazing people in this video a really big virtual hug. Come here. That felt good. And you know what we're gonna do now? Now we're gonna headbang against fear. That means I will put on some heavy metal music and I will headbang. And I want to invite you to headbang with me. In case you're not into heavy metal, feel free to turn down the volume and put on one of your favorite songs and just dance with us. Never stop dreaming!